Hello everybody. Welcome to another live stream. I hope you're all doing really well and you're all having a great day. We're here, we're live, I'm back. I've been back for a few days now, but like I'm not as sick as I was, thankfully, finally. But we are here, we're live. Like I said, Monday, I actually made it back on time. I said I was gonna be live on Monday and I'm live on Monday. It was a very hectic morning for me, so I did start slightly later than I would have liked, but that was because I had to go to the doctor's. At Night Owl, how's it going? How are you? I'm feeling better. Still not 100% back. I'm still feeling a little bit of the sick exhaustion, but I am feeling better for sure. I've been sick for like 2 weeks. It was roughly like 3 or 4 days that I didn't feel well. Then I felt a lot better for about 2 days, and then I like hit the wall and I was completely sick for the last week. Like had fever and everything, and then about 3 days ago I started with a cough, and it was not fun. But yesterday I finally felt mostly normal, and then I went and filmed the musical at the company that I did the musical with, and that took it out of me. It just completely beat me up. Our weather went from 20 degrees Celsius to 2 days later being like -7 and like snow and everything. Our weather is insane right now. But it took me right out. But I had to go to the doctor's, and so I had to be up at 7 in the morning, which I never do. And I rushed like an hour drive to go see my dog. It was a 40-minute drive to go see my doctor, and then drove all the way back and took like an hour and a half nap. So I'm feeling okay. Still a little bit tired, but I'm feeling okay, and thankfully I'm on the mend finally, because I did not like being sick for so long. I usually get sick for like a day or two, and this lasted forever. But I'm barely asleep at 7 a.m. Yeah, I'm usually getting to bed at around 5. So at 7, I'm just starting to have like my first dream of like going to school with no pants on. But I had to be up this morning, so I went to bed extra early yesterday. I think I was in bed by midnight. I was asleep by probably around 1. And then I went to the doctor's, and thankfully they saw me pretty quickly. I was there for about an hour in total, but it was quick because I was one of the first people at the office. And so I got everything done, and then rushed back home, but I was drained. So then I went back to bed, and it took me about an hour to fall asleep, but I finally napped for about an hour. I then got up and showered and got everything, all set, had myself a small lunch, and now I'm here. And so, I'm feeling better. Ty, how's it going, man? How are you? How's your day? How was your weekend? How's your Monday going? But that's pretty much it. I might cough a little bit just because I'm not 100% back yet. This cough is irritating. Took a COVID test yesterday. Everything's fine. So, it's just whatever it is has just now gotten into my coffee lungs, but I should be good in a couple of days. There's not much else to really talk about. Nothing else exciting has been going on. I'm hoping that I can get back to making TikToks. I have a couple of ideas, and it's just, no motivation, no energy. We're gonna play Penumbra today. We're gonna continue with the horror thing. We've been playing Mario Sunshine for the last few streams, but I want to keep mixing things up. So we're gonna play a little bit of Penumbra tonight or today. And that'll pretty much be it for today. I don't know if I'll be able to stream tomorrow, maybe, but I don't know. It kind of depends. I have to go and do like my passport stuff, and I don't know if I'll be able to do that tomorrow or not, because I don't know how it is in other countries, but here you have to get like a person to sign who's known you for at least 2 years, or somebody who's registered in specific jobs. And so, I only have like one person that isn't family that's known me for more than 2 years, and so I have to see them to see if they can sign it. Last time I saw them, I forgot, and then I went to the doctor's and I forgot to take it, so I didn't get the photos signed. So I have to try to get that done. If I can get that done, I'm gonna go hand out my passport, because I gotta get it done soon. So it kind of depends on if I can see the person or not to sign the photo. If they can sign it, then I'm gonna go tomorrow to hand in the passport. If not, I'm gonna see if I can see them tomorrow to sign it, and then I'll do it Wednesday. But either way, I'll probably be live either tomorrow or Wednesday for sure. Yeah, I've popped in a few times. I'm starting to get a lot of the political stuff again, and I'm not happy about it, so I'm avoiding TikTok like the plague. It's just like, I just don't have the motivation to post. I know I have to. Like, I have to make a video for Lord Hair. I have an appointment in about 2 weeks, and I got to get the video done for them. So it's like, I want to post for the next 2 weeks, so that way I can have regular stuff out, and then the Lord Hair video will come out. So it won't just be like every video that I post is just an ad. But it's not. The motivation's just not there. There's just no motivation. There were a couple of like big pieces of news, like Akira, I don't remember how to say his last name, passing away. But I was so sick, I was like, I can't put myself in the camera to record that because I'm not feeling well. One of those developer companies that works with Sony just shut down. There was something else that happened that I was like, well, I want to cover that, but I was just so sick. I was like, nope, no, I'm good. But I gotta do some stuff. I got a couple of like sketch comedy bits that I want to do. But again, it's the setting everything up, tearing everything down, and I'm just lazy. That's all it is. I'm just lazy. But yeah, there's not much else going on. No, I don't think there's anything else really going on. Just life, daily life. So we're just gonna continue playing some Penumbra. We've been playing that for a little while. I don't remember what we were doing, but because it's been like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks since I played it, so it'll be interesting. It's a lot of effort, and like something like sketch comedy with the different camera angles and the 2 costumes and the lighting having to change, and that's a lot of work. And if it doesn't get a lot of views, it just doesn't feel worth it. But I don't really have anything gaming news related to talk about. There's one that I have that I want to do. There's 2 videos that I want to do. One of them is like a streaming video, but I want to make it long form. Like I want to make it like a 7 or 8 minute video. It's just about sitting down and actually doing it. Nothing new or creative. It's just doing something I've already hashed out before, but instead of it being a 30-second me speaking like Speedy Gonzalez, it'll be like a 7-minute video where I kind of talk through it. And then one where it'll be more like an essay style video where I talk about something that happened within gaming, something that happened in the past, and go into kind of detail like I did my Resident Evil 1.2 or 1.5 game history, doing something like that. And then I got a couple of sketch comedy things. So I've got like 4 videos that I want to work on. It's just actually doing it. Like the streaming one, I can just do it sitting here. I can do it literally with this setup, so it's not so bad. The gaming history one, I mean, I usually stand in the studio to do that, so I might do that there, and that one's not too bad. It's not too big of a setup, but it's the sketch comedy that I'm just like, ugh, no energy. I am personally sick of TikTok. I'm not enjoying the 30-second videos anymore, the 1-minute videos. I hate the follow for part 2. You've got 10-minute videos. Tell me it all in one video. You don't need to make 8 parts for it. But that being said, I don't like long form videos on TikTok. One, because it's not a good overlay for long form content like TikTok itself. So I'm not a big fan of that. But also, TikTokers have zero idea what it's like to make long content. And so they make long form content and it's incredibly boring. Like, there are people that will start with a hook and then spend 8 minutes talking BS, saying absolutely nothing, and then the last 30 seconds they say what they were supposed to say. And so like I hate that because it's just time wasting. They don't actually say anything of value. You know, it'll be like, this gaming company is now being sued, and then they'll spend 20 minutes talking about like, or 20 minutes, like 8 minutes talking about like Microsoft. And then at the end, they're going to name some random Russian company of some guy who's literally just like an asset flipper. And it's like, why did you spend the last 8 minutes talking about Microsoft? It has nothing to do with the point. You could have said that all in 1 minute. So that's what I don't like about long form TikTok. I love long form videos. I actually much prefer watching a 40-minute video to watching a 30-second video. But yeah, people on TikTok haven't learned how to do it well yet. Hello, Chadley. How's it going? Yeah, TikTok long form is beginner YouTube content, 100%. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it has to be scripted. Like, that's the thing. TikTok has nurtured a platform where it's off the cuff, feeling like it's raw and unedited. And when you go long form, you can't do that long form. Like, there's a guy that I follow who does Canadian news, and he was talking about how, like, the government is trying to get rid of, here in Canada, they're trying to get rid of a certain device that can theoretically be used to hack, like, breaking into cars and stuff. And this guy goes on to explain, like, responding to it, going on to explain, not to, like, he even starts it off by, no, see, now I'm rambling. He even starts it off by saying, like, this isn't a criticism, it's just I know you like to be accurate, so here's a correction for what you just said. And he goes on to explain how this machine works. But it was like a 7-minute video, and he could have said all of it in about a minute and a half. A lot of it was just a lot of rambling explanation. So he was talking about how, like, the codes in cars are rolling codes. And here's an example of a rolling code, like, I give code number 1, and the car looks for code number 1. Then they both throw it. It's like, dude, just, that's all you have to say. Right there, you could stop right there. But then he goes on to give, and then he can give code number 2, and the car throws away code number 2. But if you use the wrong code, then we figured that out when you said code number 1, they both get thrown out. But he went on for 7 minutes. And then at the end to just say, this device can only copy a code and spit it out. It can't roll a code. And so it's like, it's that inability to tell a story that's refined. And so that's why, like, with me, I can't do one-shot takes in my videos because I ramble too much. And it's like, you just want to get the facts out. You just want to get the interesting stuff out. And some people will just go on tangents, and it's just like, no, I don't care. Just shut up. It's frustrating. Yeah, lots of filler content, lots of wasteful stuff. There was a video that I don't even remember what it was. It was just today that I saw it. I don't even remember what it was, but they said, like, they made a point at the beginning. I don't know. I'm just going to make something. It had nothing to do with this. I'm just going to make it up. They'll be like, this man, do you want to know how he was caught after murdering his wife and child? And then they talk about a bunch of stuff about the guy, but they never talk about how they caught him. And at the end of the video, they're like, follow for part 2. Why did you speak for 7 minutes and not say a single thing? You didn't actually say the thing you said you were going to say in the video. You just rambled. And so it's like, it's just annoying to watch. Or there's a guy that this is really starting to really bother me. This is why I don't like TikTok, the toxicity. But then there's this guy that has the stupidest, thinly veiled, stolen content. He sits and reacts to content, and his reactions literally just... That's all he's doing the whole time, and he just shows stand-up comedy. And then he labels it making comedy funny again, or bringing back comedy or whatever. First of all, comedy never died. Second of all, how are you helping comedy out at all? Because you're not adding anything to it. You're literally just pirating their content and posting it on TikTok. How are you helping in any way? I don't want to see your fat face on the screen. I don't care about your reaction. All you're doing is nodding. You agree with the guy? Then let me watch it and let me agree with him. I don't need to see you agreeing with it. Who the hell are you? So, like, that really bothers me on TikTok, that you see a lot of that now, where people are just posting pre-made stuff from somebody else and they're just smiling and looking at it, kind of like the crappy reaction content you see on Twitch and YouTube. So I like the idea of long form content for TikTok. I don't like the way that their UI works, and I don't like how it's being done right now, because exactly what Chadley said. Long form TikTok right now is early stages of YouTube, where people are learning what works and what doesn't. The difference being YouTube already did it. So it's not even like we don't know what works or doesn't, because when YouTube started, nobody knew what worked or didn't. But now we have YouTube. It's existed. We have Vimeo. That's existed. We have, what's the other one? I don't know, another one of those video platforms. We know what works and what doesn't. It's just lazy content, and it's really frustrating. Yeah, I've followed channels like that where it's literally just there's, I don't know if it's the same guy, but it's like a guy laying in bed, and then it's like, yeah, so she went and got her hair done, but she wasn't happy with it because the blonde was actually red. There, saved you all that time. It's like, yeah, exactly. You don't need to spend 20 minutes talking about how you didn't like your hair when 30 seconds could have explained it. And if you've got a 10-minute video, do it all in the 10-minute video. Don't do an 8-part 1-minute video. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Okay, so Chadley said that, but it didn't pop up on my chat. That's so weird. That's so weird. Do you feel attacked for your content? But you're reacting to other TikToks. What I'm talking about is people that literally take, like, what's his name? Kevin Hart's stand-up comedy, and they post that. And then they use the green screen and react to it. Like, they didn't even react to somebody else's content that at least is like pushing another person. They're just stealing somebody's content and posting it on. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Chadley's message didn't, it's so weird. Chadley's message is not in my chat window, but I saw it on screen. Let me look it up here. Well established, it doesn't even do long form content. Yeah, apparently it's starting to, but yeah, the re-uploads of YouTube stuff, from what I've seen, the YouTube re-uploads don't work. There's a guy that I started following on YouTube who's been posting on TikTok, and he splits his videos up into like 1-minute chunks, 30-second chunks, and it just doesn't flow on TikTok very well. And it's so hard to go back, because sometimes you can click on the channel and it'll be like recently watched and you can watch the video. But a lot of these creators don't upload them in order, so then I can't follow what the whole series is. So I started following him on YouTube. I don't watch it. As soon as I see him on TikTok, I just swipe. I'd rather just watch it on YouTube now. But yeah, long form is apparently working if it's specific to TikTok, like done on TikTok, edited on TikTok and all that kind of stuff. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. But yeah, long form content is, yeah, I don't know. It's, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. TikTok creators and YouTube creators are not creators, viewers are very, very different groups. Like, they have a different way of ingesting content. The amount of creators that I've seen that are huge creators on YouTube and can barely make a splash on TikTok, it's shocking. But TikTokers only watch TikTok. They don't use YouTube. The amount of times that I get people that I'll be talking about YouTube and they'll be like, nobody uses YouTube. YouTube is still one of the biggest platforms out there. What do you mean nobody uses YouTube? I literally only watch YouTube. YouTube is still a pretty big deal. It's just you only watch TikTok. It's not that nobody watches YouTube. You only watch TikTok. It's a weird differentiating thing between both communities. Yeah, they're very different animals for sure. $0.20 for 1,000 views. Yeah, see, in Canada we got nothing, so it doesn't matter at all. I'm only interested in continuing to make content on TikTok because that is where brands are reaching out. That's the only reason. I'm done with TikTok. I'm so over TikTok. Like, I barely find myself scrolling through TikTok anymore. I don't really watch TikTok videos anymore. If I scroll, I'll scroll and like any of my friends' stuff, and then the second I see a video that I'm not into, like something that annoys me or frustrates me, or is like intentionally toxic or obtuse or just rage baiting, I completely shut the app down now. Just not even worth the effort. I've gone days now without opening TikTok because I'm just fed up with it. And YouTube, I like that YouTube doesn't rely on as much clickbait hook stuff like TikTok does. So you can find a video that you like on YouTube and you can watch it, and you don't have that false clickbaity, rage baity BS that you get on TikTok. You still get it on YouTube, but not as bad. They own first and second, exactly. Yeah, like, I'm not interested in maintaining TikTok at all, and I'm only doing because, yeah, companies are reaching out to me from there. And even like YouTube, I'm just not interested in that kind of content right now. I'm having way more fun doing my Minecraft stuff, even though it gets 1% of the viewership or the following. But I'm far more interested and feel far more rewarded doing the Minecraft content than I did feeling successful as a TikToker. It's also really irritating. I had somebody pop into the stream who kept bringing up my numbers on TikTok, and it's just really irritating because it either comes off as they are jealous, so they got to keep bringing up my numbers, or they are hoping that I will help them, so they keep bringing up my numbers, kind of like placating me, or they're trying to almost like belittle me by bringing up my numbers. And that's just really irritating because it's so obviously thinly veiled. Like it wasn't like a natural bringing it up type of thing. And it's really frustrating. So that also makes me not want to be around TikTok either, because either people are trying to use me, or people are like, why aren't you getting that many views? Look how big your following is. Because I'm not posting. That's why I'm not getting views. I'm not posting. I think in the last 2 months, I've posted maybe 5 videos. I can't even bring those ones down. I can't even bring those ones down, Ty. I try my hardest and I can't bring them down. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about TikTok anymore. I'm just not enjoying it. Yeah, that's where I am. That's where I am. I'll post videos and I don't get any views, don't get any engagement. And then when I do, it's hate and rage. And it's like, I don't need that in my life. I don't need that, because it's usually really stupid people too. It's not even like a decent debate. It's just stupid people. And it's just annoying. It's just annoying. Ty, that's too funny. Yeah, I don't even know, Night Owl. I think part of it is that like hook and bait type of thing. You know, start early on TikTok, like your new channel, and so they're gonna push you. As long as you make decent content, they're gonna push you because they want you to keep coming back. Then once you get to a certain point, they just don't push you anymore. And so it's like I've got zero interest, like at all. I feel so much happier with 500 views on YouTube than I did with 500,000 views on TikTok. I feel better with 2 comments on YouTube than I do with 100 comments on TikTok. Like, it's just, but I know I have to stick to it because that's where a lot of companies reach out to me, and I'm not working with anybody except for Lord Hair right now. But I gotta make content. So I gotta make filler content because I don't want it to just be ads, because I would like to continue working with Lord Hair. So I gotta make filler stuff that will go in between, so that way I don't lose Lord Hair. But yeah, I don't know. I'm torn about long form content on TikTok. Yep, Siren. And depending on what you say in the video or what tags you use in the video, it will push to bots even more. Like, there was a video that I did on TikTok where I said something and I used the word hack in the video. And I wasn't talking about like my account being hacked or being scammed or anything like that. I just used the word for some reason. And every other comment was, reach out to this person. They helped me get my account back. They're reliable. And it's just like, I wasn't talking about that. So not only did you use the same copy and paste message that all the bots use, but that's not the topic I was talking about. So you made it even more obvious you're a bot. Yeah. Yeah, and TikTok is hard to judge what works and what doesn't. There are some things that are very, right now, currently, are something that are things that work, but it's not always easy to make those things be a part of your video. And I'm not talking about you in particular. I'm just saying, like, I know for me, like one thing that Kadea does, that Night Owl does, is the sound effects during like transitions between clips. I don't use them. not because I don't want to, but because I'm too lazy to. But I know that stuff like that helps. The interesting transition into the video and out of the video, I do it once in a while, but it never looks as good. And so and it takes me forever, and I'm just like, no, but I know those things help. Rage baity intro really helps. Anytime I have a video that starts off with a very broad statement that I know is going to make people mad, I know it's going to get engagement, but then I don't want to deal with the next 100 notifications being hate comments. It's just, ugh. You made a preset. That's what I need to learn to do, is make presets. Yeah, it's, yeah, it would drive me nuts. It would drive me nuts to do it every time. It would absolutely drive me nuts to do it every time. But yeah, like I said, I'm torn about TikTok. I'm happy that I was able to make the following that I did. I want to continue because I did enjoy making content, but it's just, it's so much content you have to put out, and it's so much hate you get in return that it's exhausting. Like, it's so exhausting. And I got enough crap on my plate. I don't need that too, you know? Yeah, and I've been trying, but like even news stuff, there's not much interesting news that's been happening. There's a few things that have happened, but not enough to do it daily and to do a couple of videos a day. And I just can't be bothered to go to like Reddit and read little things. And this is just a me thing. This isn't like it's actually something that is wrong or that I'm offended by or upset about. It's just, it just irks me. And so that takes my motivation away. I hate when I make a video about something and then somebody like a day later covers exactly what I did, and they've liked my video, so I know they saw it, and then they post the same piece of news and then they get 10 times the views I get. And it's just like, that's really irksome to me. And it's just like, then I don't even want to bother doing something like that. I'd rather do something that's out of their realm so I can just do my own thing, but then that limits what I can do. Or sometimes I'm getting ready to film something and then I see somebody else post that and I'm just like, oh crap. And that's just, like I said, that's just a me thing. And all that just kind of kills my motivation, you know? Yeah, and that's exactly it. All the sketch comedy stuff, like my sketch comedy stuff tends to do okay. But yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I don't have the energy to take these lights down, to take the camera down, to set up the lights in a different room, put on the costume, write the script out, do a billion takes to get the lines right, then come back and edit it so all the timing's right, just to find out that I missed a certain line, so 2 lines don't make sense, and got to figure out a way to re-edit it so it does make sense, and then you turn around and it's like 1,000 views, and it's like, oh, man, you know? Yeah, it's you know, and like the piracy, there's one guy in particular who started to do the anti-piracy thing, which again, it's all well known and well documented, so it's not like I figured these things out, right? But one guy in particular who's got a bigger following than I do, but we're mutuals, who started to do the anti-piracy thing. The thing is, he did them in the exact same order I did them. Like the exact order that I did them. And that would make sense if I was like Matthew Centero or whatever his name is, where I just went to a top 10 list and I just did videos based on the top 10 list. But I got mine from different sites because I didn't want to get it from one site's top 10 list. I would like pick a game and then put anti-piracy and then see what was there and find one that I liked and then do it. So for this creator to do the exact same order I did for the exact same anti-piracy I did, just seems like a really high coincidence. Now they didn't deliver my lines. They said it their own way. They'd had their own editing style and everything, but it was very clear they watched my playlist and then just looked up the videos I did and then just redid them. That to me is irritating. Like that's just, it's so lazy, but that's what works. That's what is going to get them the success. They don't have to do the work, but they get the review from it. And so it's like that's really irksome, and that's just how the world works. Yeah, there's another situation that I can't talk about right now because somebody that watches me could see it and they're involved, and I don't want to say anything. But yeah, sometimes the people with the laziest outcome or the most inept are the ones that are getting the most accolades because they didn't do the work, but they're able to put out things at a high level. So frustrating. Was it me? No, it wasn't you, Ty. It wasn't you. Don't worry. But yeah, the sketches, that annoyed me, and I've called it out. And the thing is, TikTok has bred a community that thinks it's okay to pirate things or to plagiarize things. That's the word I'm looking for. That thinks it's okay to plagiarize things. And so calling it out, all it does is get you more hate and makes you the bad guy, even though it's like, I wrote the joke. Those are my lines. That's my comedy. Like, it's TikTok, bro. It's not that serious. But you would get kicked out of college for writing a paper that somebody else wrote, and it's not that serious either. So it's like, it's really irritating when they do steal your sketch comedy and it's word for word. And with the news thing, yeah, it's a big part of the news thing, at least from what I've seen. This is completely anecdotal. I'm not saying this is how TikTok works, but a big part of it is, one, if you know how to deliver lines in a way that gets people's attention. If you're attractive, that really helps. Or if you're willing to rage bait people. Those are like the three things that are going to make your video stand out. And sadly, I'm not very good at writing good hooks without it being involved with rage baiting. I'm not an attractive person. Like, I'm not saying I'm ugly, but what I'm saying is, like, put me next to a hot woman, she's going to get more views than I am, even if we deliver the exact same script. And not because she has easy mode. It's just dudes are stupid and they think with their other head, and they're gonna watch things a lot easier than they would with me. And so I'm stuck with rage bait, but that's so not good for your mental health that it's just not even worth the effort, you know? Well, I'm out for all three. Yeah, exactly. It's creating with training wheels, because yeah, you're copying other people's trends, you're copying other people's sounds, you're literally just using other people's ideas over and over and over again. I brought them up a million times. There is a couple on YouTube Shorts, but they had their big explosion on TikTok where they made one dance video and they just reposted the exact same video, not the same dance, the same video over and over and over again, and just replied to people's comments, posting the exact same video. And it's just like, that is like the ultimate laziest content. And so it's really frustrating. And then you get somebody like Charli D'Amelio, who literally just steals other people's dances, happens to be a pretty girl, and she gets a bunch of views for being talentless. She's a talented dancer, but what she's doing on TikTok is not a talented dancer's wheelhouse. She's just dancing like anybody else does. She just happens to be rich and attractive. And so, yeah, I 100% agree. TikTok is creation for beginners, which is fine. It's just irritating because when you put the work in, it doesn't have the same feedback. Yeah, absolutely, Chadley. Absolutely. Because again, it's one thing to see somebody else's idea. Like the couple of sketch things that I've got, I've gotten the ideas from another guy who does sketch comedy, but his is about he's got a pretty big following, but it's like him and his son is a moron. I'm gonna take that same thing because I've got like me and the Hey Retro, who is a moron, and I'm gonna have the same idea of the joke, but I'm gonna rewrite it to fit my niche. And then you have people that will literally take his joke about the son and the dad and then will just retell the exact same joke. Or there's that one guy that was like disgusting. There's a guy on TikTok. I don't know if you guys ever have like the same stuff that I see, but there's this guy on TikTok whose whole shtick is rapping, but he does comedy rapping. So like he'll play like Titanic, My Heart Will Go On, and then he raps on top of it. Or he'll do like a hardcore rap song, but then he's singing about baking a pie. Like, it's really funny stuff. And this other guy took his sound, uploaded the video separately, didn't stitch it, didn't do edit, didn't use the sound on TikTok, made his own version of it, didn't acknowledge the other guy, and then was deleting comments that called out the other guy saying like, hey, isn't this your joke? Because it was his voice and everything. And then at the end, the guy just added it in the comments, tagging him. Nobody sees it in the comments. And you've got 100,000 comments. Nobody's going to see the one comment you put. And then just acts like he didn't do anything wrong. And it's like, dude, you literally stole his music. You stole his voice and all you did is lip sync, but then you didn't even use the built-in lip syncing thing in the app. You stole it because you didn't want people to know it was his. And he got double the views than the original guy did. TikTok has absolutely bred plagiarism mentality. And it's sad. It's really sad. Between inspiration and stealing. Yeah, both of you said the exact same thing, but that's exactly it. That's exactly it. You know, there's inspired by and then stealing. It was like the one Hey Retro video that I did, where I literally took the guy's video and then I spliced his line, then my line, then his line, then my line, and how they were word for word the same. And then his defense was, I said, buddy, that doesn't make it yours. That was only one of the lines you stole. The rest of the joke was my joke. And I said it better than you did. I was funnier than you were. At least be good at it if you're gonna steal it. But like, yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Yeah, it's just frustrating. So to answer your question, yeah, I'm not a fan of the long form content on TikTok because it's lazy and it's not thought out at all. But I do like the idea of longer form content because I personally like to put my phone on while I'm showering and just watch a video. And it's just not possible on TikTok. There are times where I just want to like lay on the couch and throw on a video and watch it. And you really can't do that on TikTok. And then when you find a long enough video that you could, it's rambling and it's very not thought out. A lot of clickbaity stuff where they don't actually say anything of importance. And it's just not, yeah. TikTok relies a lot on rage as well. Like there was this guy that made this huge video. It was like a 7-minute video talking about how laying people off is okay. And then he goes and gives this huge analogy about an island and about how like people on this island will have different jobs and when the job is done, like if you're building houses and everybody's got a house, then you don't have to build houses anymore. Well, then the island's gonna stop you and find something else for you to do. And that's why these jobs could lay you off, because like if you find you have your job and then they don't need you anymore, they have to get rid of you. They're not gonna pay you for nothing. And so my rebuttal was, well, first of all, the point that you made about you find another job, that's what businesses should be doing. Is when they hire you for a job, but when it's done, they find you another job to do within the business. And then there was another point that I made about like how like inherited wealth is okay, is what he was saying. And I was like, and then his answer to that was like, well, they worked for it, they earned that money, and if they leave it to their kids, well, if you take that away from them, then what incentive do the kids have to work? They're not going to want to work because you took away whatever they earned anyway. And my rebuttal was literally, but the people who make the most money don't actually work for it. The guy who runs, Epic Games isn't actually the one making the games. He's not doing the effort. He's not making millions of dollars worth of work. He's stealing a little bit from everybody else who's doing all the work, and then he takes the brunt of it. And then he gives his money to his kids who did less to earn it. And then they're going to spend the rest of their lives doing nothing with it too. So they're not incentivized to work because they didn't earn anything. So it's like, it literally actually proves the point that giving them the money ruins their incentive to do anything with it and to do anything for the community. And then his rebuttal to me was that saying that they should do it doesn't mean that it's that, like, by saying that they should do it, I'm saying that that's how things are and that's not how the world works. And I was like, Are you dumb? Because should can also be used as like a fake situation and what one of the outcomes could be. You know, like they should be doing this. They don't do it, but they should be. I wasn't saying that that is the way things are supposed to be. I was saying that that's the way they should be, but they're not. So it's just very like rage baity stuff. And it's like, that's just not fun. Not fun at all. Yeah, that's how I feel, Night Owl. Like I'll go. It was a total rabbit hole, Ty. It was a rabbit hole completely. I agree. I'm very much I want to make something that I wouldn't say mine is art because I don't have the artistic eye that you have, but I want to feel proud of the stuff that I do. I want to feel like I did something original and that's mine. And I want to feel like what I did was comparable to a big company, you know, like what you would see something like Rest in Ashes Now, Rooster Teeth would do, you know, something that a company would do that you'd be like, wow, that was pretty well done. And I don't mind doing clickbait content, depending. Clickbait content in the sense of like how I showed a picture of the guy who inspired Popeye and said this was the original Mario. That's clickbaity, but then I went and described where the connection is, where it's like the guy was the inspiration for Popeye. Popeye was supposed to be in the Donkey Kong game. Nintendo couldn't get the rights, so then they made Mario, who was supposed to be Popeye. Who is this guy? There's the link. But then when you get like the clickbaity stuff where they'll show a picture of some random person on the street and then it has nothing to do with that kind of clickbait I'm not a big fan of. I don't mind clickbait, but I don't like doing it because I hate the rage that you get from viewers who can't be bothered to listen past the clickbait. That video in particular, the amount of people that were like, bro, that's Popeye. What are you talking about? But I actually said that in the video too. So you didn't watch the video. You just got mad. So it's like, I don't like that. I don't like following trends because yeah, I like the creativity. I like being able to do my own thing. And I don't want to steal other people's ideas because I don't like when people do it to me. And I don't want to be that kind of person. There are times that I'll see somebody else's like thing and I'm like, ooh, I want to talk about that too. But then I'll do my own version of it and I'll do my own research on it and everything. But I also won't just watch one person's page and then copy everything they did. They just might touch on a subject that I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. But yeah. Yeah, we were robbed of Super Popeye World. We absolutely were. Link is a different game. Yeah. Yeah, legit bait. Exactly. Legit bait. That's what I try to do is legit bait. I'll find something and I'll find an obtuse way to explain it that makes it sound wrong, and then I'll show you how what I'm saying is right within that train of thought. But yeah, it's yeah, you always have to stay on top of things, and it's just like I don't have the energy nor the will to do that, to stay on top of stuff like that. It's just not something I'm interested in. Yeah, I don't know. I got to get back to doing TikToks, but motivation. Ian, how's it going, man? How are you? How you been, man? It was nice seeing you yesterday. But yeah, I'm just demotivated from TikTok. TikTok itself did it to me. But I have to get back to it. I gotta start making content. Like I said, I got a few ideas. It's just about actually doing it. I've been so sick this week. I wanted to do it this week or this last week, but I've been so sick that I just haven't had the energy. But I'm probably gonna be able to do some stuff this week, mainly because Kendra's prepping for her competition and she's got a bunch of stuff to do this week. So I'm probably not gonna see her at all. I'm gonna have a lot of time on my hands. So I'm gonna try to do it then. But my house is also upside down because I'm in the middle of filming that musical. And so like I've got all my stuff pulled out and it's just like sitting around because I don't want to put it away because I have to pull it all out again next week. So, or this next weekend. So I'm just leaving it all out. So I got to find a place to record and I'm just lazy. You should, Chadley. I was just talking to my friend Preston about doing how I used to do 16-star runs. They're fun. They're really fun. I'm good, Ian. I'm good. I'm feeling a lot better now. I kind of hit the wall yesterday after recording for so long. I got home and I felt dead tired and sick just from how tired I was. But today I'm feeling a heck of a lot better. Thankfully, finally. Yeah, I'm still not fully understanding, Night Owl, how YouTube fully works, because I'm not sure why some videos do really well and why some don't. But I'm gonna check now because I haven't actually checked in a while. Yeah, I'm at 148 now. Last time I looked, I was at 142. And the latest video's 246. The latest video hasn't done very well. But I want to see what happens when I do the long video. I've already edited it together. I just have to level out the sounds. It's just the clips are all now in one place. I got rid of the intro and outro of each one, so it would just be like one long flowing video. And it's turned out to be like 3 hours and 15 minutes, I think is what I saw. I'm excited to see how that does on YouTube, because YouTube now, a lot of people are reporting that YouTube is doing really well with the extra long videos. Like people who are doing like 2 or 3 hour videos tend to get tons of views because people are burnt out on TikTok. TikTok was too much of a good thing, and now people are like, no, let's just throw on YouTube and leave it on for hours. What did I think of Rent? It was interesting. That's all I'll say. There are things that I thought were really well done, and there are things that fall on the shoulders of certain people that I think affect the whole group. So I don't want to say anything, if that makes sense. It's like if you ask if a band was good and like their drummers, what is that? Is it Metallica that their drummer sucks? It's Metallica that their drummer sucks, right? I think. I don't know. There's a whole breakdown I watched about this. Like this drummer is like a Nepo baby, and he's like funded the band from the beginning. And so they can't kick him out because he's been the funding of the band. And so he's involved, but he sucks as a drummer. There's like clips of the band literally like stopping playing because they just can't play because his rhythm is everywhere. But it's kind of like saying the band is good, but the drummer sucks. But that kind of makes the whole band look bad. So you'd rather just not say anything. It's kind of that idea. Yeah, Metallica, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I think there were some really, really strong things that happened in that show that I was a big fan of. Yeah. Yeah, that's because like there are things that I have opinions on, but it's not about the people that are involved in the show. I'm trying not to say anything because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, because the things that I'm thinking about are not aimed at like Stephanie. 100% not aimed at her. But yeah, that's what I'll say. Yeah, and that's a big thing, Night Owl, is sometimes videos will just like float for a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, and then all of a sudden it just like gets traction out of nowhere. I really like that about YouTube. I also really like about YouTube about how you can get the same type of result from a much smaller viewership than you can from TikTok. Like with TikTok, you can get 100,000 views and you might get 100 followers. On YouTube, you can do 1,000 views and you'll get 100 followers. Like it's, I haven't gotten to that point yet, but like my videos that did over 1,000 views on YouTube, they got me 15 to 20 followers, no problem. Whereas on TikTok, I'll get a video that'll get 5,000 views and I'm lucky to get 1 follower from it. So it's really nice to see that it's a much more fair return for the work you're doing. And the fact that there is a community behind it is really nice. Whereas like TikTok just feels like a bunch of strangers who don't actually know anything about you or your content. And because of the way TikTok works, they can't actually connect with your content. So like I'll have people that'll comment and they'll be like, wow, I haven't seen your stuff in forever. Like, where'd you go? And it's like, I've been posting every day. You're just not seeing it. And it's not the viewer's fault. It's TikTok doesn't share it with them. And there's no way to really follow your person and see the stuff that they're doing without looking them up, clicking on their page and seeing them. There's no like on YouTube where there's the subscription page where you can see the stuff that everybody's posting that you're subscribed to and you can choose what you want to watch. There are times on TikTok where I'm like, oh, there's somebody I want to watch. I don't remember their name, but I want to see if they continued with the series. And I'll go to my For You, like my following page, and I'll swipe for 20 minutes and they just won't pop up because at that time, their stuff's just not being shown to me. So it's like, I don't like that. Yeah, sub-see your uploads. And the funny thing is that I remember YouTube used to be even more consistent with sub-seeing your stuff, and then they changed it to an algorithm rather than just seeing whatever anybody posted. But it's still so much more consistent than TikTok. Because there are times that I'll go weeks without seeing somebody. And then I click on their page and they've been posting, I just haven't seen them. And because I haven't seen them, I don't think about them. So then I don't actively go out and look for them. It's to the detriment of the creator, but I think that's part of the game. It's the whole like casino mentality, right? You pull on that little lever and eventually you're going to get a little bit of a jackpot, but you're going to lose a heck of a lot more. But that constant pulling of the lever is getting you to keep coming back. And it's the same with TikTok. You're going to make videos and they're all going to be terrible, but one really good video gets you to come back over and over again. I just don't like that. Not a big fan of that. But, oh well, I'm getting way more gratification out of YouTube. Like I said, my following is tiny on YouTube, but like my other YouTube channel, my Minecraft one, but I am so much happier there. So much happier there. And I feel like I could do a much more long-term thing on there. I don't think it's going to be one of those things that I'll do for the rest of my life, but I could see myself, if I get enough momentum, doing it for 5 or 6 years and being really happy. Whereas like TikTok, yeah, I've been on it for 2, almost 3 years and I'm done. We should, Ty, we should. Most of your TikTok For You pages from, yeah, I hate that too. Where you'll see something and it's from like months ago and you're almost out of the loop because all the comments are super old. And that's it, Night Owl, is Minecraft has such a big following. And although it's not at the peak, the second peak that it was at, it's still a big enough following. And the following is always refreshing because there are always new kids coming in as other kids grow out of it, but it's also evergreen, so people can just go back and watch it whenever they want. And it's the kind of content that has a lot of opportunities for other stuff to happen, like working with another Minecraft creator, coming up with new concepts for it, and I can take my time with it. It's not like TikTok stuff where I have to be on the daily coming up with something new. I can just like take my time doing it. I love that about Minecraft content. It is oversaturated. There are a bunch of creators on there, but I do have the benefit that I've been creating content for a while. So there are things I'm still learning. There are things that I'm still struggling with to kind of make smoother on my Minecraft stuff, but I already know how to do some okay editing and I kind of know what works and what doesn't as far as entertainment is concerned. So I'm definitely a step ahead from other creators that are new. One of the common comments I get is, I can't believe your following is so small because your editing is so high quality. And it's just that I've got years of experience editing, so that's helped. But it also makes me stand out next to the other newer creators. I'm definitely enjoying the smaller stuff, or the longer form stuff on the smaller channel. Michael Jackson is going, no, we're just chatting. We're just chatting. Down $150. Holy crap, dude. I hope so, Night Owl. I hope so. I hope so. What I would like to do, the thing is, I haven't started it because I'm trying to get TikTok going again. I'm trying to motivate myself to get TikTok going again. I would like to start posting more times with Minecraft stuff, like maybe 2 videos a week, like maybe like a short and a long form video, but I haven't fully worked out what I want to do because I'm not obsessed with Minecraft and I'm not fixated. Like, it's not a hyper fixation for me. I don't have a lot of interest in doing things like going into creative mode and just building something really cool. I don't have interest in doing that. So I'm still trying to toy with the idea of what I want to do, but I know I want to post more often on there so that way I can up the viewership at a faster speed. Was it? Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping, is that I can get myself up to those numbers. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yeah, and that's exactly it, Ty, is the amount of work that goes into editing for people not to notice it almost makes you not want to do it. But once you start doing it and then you don't do it, you really feel it. And so like Minecraft, I don't know if you watch my Minecraft videos at all, but I do a lot of memes in between it. And I've begun it within like the third video I was doing it, but I started putting my own face, like my Minecraft face, on the character that was talking, or like other characters in the game on the characters that were talking, because Dr. H suggested it. And I tried it and I liked it because it tied in more with me. It was more original. Each one of those can take me up to 15 minutes for like a 5-second meme. Because I have to go frame by frame to animate where the head moves. I have to like resize the head and all that stuff. It's a lot of work for like a 5-second meme. But in a 20-minute video, I might have 40 memes. So it adds hours of editing. But then when I don't put it in, it feels really lacking. By the end, I kind of found a balance where like, if it was a meme that would be something I would be saying, then I put my face in. If it's a meme another character would say to me, I put their face in. But if it's something that the audience says to me, I don't put any face in. And that's kind of helped a little bit with it, but it's time consuming. But when I don't do it, it's missing. Also, my editing style has sort of evolved to include the memes. So when I'm editing my video, I go without the memes, I edit the whole video, and then I add the memes in to kind of fill in the what's going through my mind, or what I think the viewer says, or what I think they're saying to me, like the other character is saying to me. But without the memes, my videos are a lot slower paced, they're a lot less energetic. And so like, I slowly want to move away from the memes. I would like it to just be freeform me, but yeah, like all of it now depends on these memes and the way that I've edited them. And it's a lot of work, and people won't realize how much work it is because it's just such a quick throwaway thing. But it's so worth the effort. It's so worth the effort. Yeah, Night Owl, what I've been, so the two ideas I've been, no, I'm not playing Mario today, Michael Jackson. The two ideas that I've been playing with is I'm going to continue with the challenges that I've been doing. So I think the next one's probably going to be the 1-block sky block as the next challenge. And then for the secondary video, I'm either thinking about doing things like a hardcore world and just playing a hardcore world and then doing things within the hardcore world. So like I beat the game initially, and then once the game is beat, do things like, I don't know, build some cool monument, or, you know, collect 100 dogs, whatever, stuff like that. Just dumb challenges within that world. Or I do tutorial videos of basics, nothing complex, but like, here's how you build this type of farm, here's how you build that type of farm, here's a variance on this farm, to kind of have that going as well. The beauty of the tutorials is it's one thing that I have to do, and it can be a 5-minute video and it's not a big deal. But the downside to the tutorial videos is it's all been done before, and because I'm not so entrenched in the world, some of those farms that I know of are created by one specific person, and I don't always know who created the exact farm. And so I don't want it to seem like I'm stealing their idea. But then the downside to the hardcore world is it also entails 4 or 5 hours of video shooting to also edit for another 10 hours. So that brings up my normal 20 to 30 hours per video to 40 to 50 hours per video, per week for the 2 videos. So it's like, I don't know which one I want to do, but I definitely want to get 2 series going at the same time, just because if every video that I do can get me 5 to 10 followers, subscriptions, and I do 2 videos, that's 10 to 20 subscriptions per video. And then if I get a video that does 1,000+ views, that can get me another 50. So it's like, that'll accelerate the growth of the channel. But in turn, that means a lot less time to stream, a lot less time to do TikTok and stuff. And so it's like, that's where I'm struggling a little bit. I gotta figure it out. Because I feel like the Minecraft channel, as it stands, is probably the one with the most chance of doing anything good. My TikTok's kind of dead in the water right now. I'm thinking the only way I'll be able to revive that is by going back to posting 2 or 3 times a day. And I just don't have ideas for 2 or 3 times a day unless I go back and remake everything that I did. And I tried that, and every other comment was, bro, that's so 2020. And it's just like, so it's, yeah, that's kind of the place I'm stuck in right now, which kind of sucks. It is cold in Canada today, Michael Jackson. It is cold today. We had really, really nice weather for a few days, and now it's freezing, and I don't know why. Canada is weird. But yeah, Ty, having nice editing is definitely helpful. TikTok doesn't necessarily need good editing, but you want to have okay editing, because the thing with TikTok is it almost relies on the raw nature of it. And once you start going pro, you run the risk, like pro looking, I mean, you run the risk of it looking like an ad, so people are going to swipe away. Or you kind of set yourself a high bar, and then when you go back to the lazy footage, nobody watches it. And so it's like, then you're stuck at that high level all the time, and that's hard to deal with. It's hot in Florida, nice. Hello, Weewin, how's it going? Is it windy? It was really windy this morning. There was a set of trees. I was on the highway though, so I couldn't take a picture, but they were all tilted. It was so freaky. There was so much wind. I don't even know what the weather is right now, but it was cold this morning. It was cold yesterday. Okay, it's gotten warmer today. It's 7 right now, 7 degrees Celsius. But it was like -4 or -5 yesterday. The flag still suggests it's windy. Yeah, probably then. Gross. I don't like cold weather. All right, I guess we'll get started. I've been chatting for a while. I guess we'll just get started. Yeah, it's you had no snow squalls. Yeah, we had a snowfall, not a snowstorm, but we had a snowfall the day before, like the night before, and so everything is covered in snow right now, which I was shocked about because it was 20 degrees Celsius, which is like what, 70 in freedom units, something like that. But it was warm enough that you could wear like a t-shirt and pants outside, and then all of a sudden there's snow outside. I was shocked, and then I went outside and it was really cold. Yeah, it's like 7 or 8 there too. Yeah, it's not cold, but it's cold. It's not comfortable outside. I don't like this kind of weather. I like it when it's a little bit warmer. But I agree, Night Owl. Your content looks very well done, and so that runs the risk that I was just talking about of like looking like an ad, and it really sucks because I like the way your content looks. I like the way my content looks, and it looks like an ad, and it's so frustrating. I hate it. Because I like the good looking content. I like when my content looks good. Hence this. Even my stream. I don't get a lot of attention on my stream, and I wonder if maybe it's the too good camera and sound, you know? I don't know, Michael Jackson. I've never been a tourist here, so I have no idea. It's 10C right there. Yeah, so it's a little bit warmer. See, 10C, between 10 and 15, I'm happy. I like it a lot warmer than that. I like it when it's like 25 degrees. I like it when it's really warm. But 10 to 15, that's when you start getting comfortable. It's nice. You can throw on like a light sweater or like a thicker, longer sleeve shirt, and you're going to be happy. I need to use filters all the time. All the time. My nose is so itchy. No, it's okay, Michael Jackson. It's okay. But in a serious answer, Michael Jackson, there's some stuff to do in Canada. There's not a lot of stuff to do. Like, for you, I don't think it would really count. But, like, camping is a big thing in Canada because we've got so much forest here. Like, the States has a lot of forests, but it's nothing compared to what Canada has. Like, we have an insane amount of forests out here. And so there's a lot to do when it comes to, like, camping and wilderness stuff. Where I live, we have the Niagara Falls, but it's like a big casino touristy area. So there's a lot of, like, hotels and all like the arcades, and it just feels like you're walking in like Las Vegas style stuff. Not as wild, but like that kind of idea. Then there's Toronto, but Toronto, you're gonna go there to like watch like live theater or to just see Toronto, but it's mostly a business sector. So there's not really interesting stuff to see in Toronto unless you're from here. Like for me, going to Toronto is interesting because of all the ethnic food. But you're not going to come from the States to Toronto to eat ethnic food. It just doesn't, it wouldn't make sense. So you're going to go to Toronto to see like live theater or to the museums and stuff. And then besides that, there is nothing. Like there's just nothing to really look at. I'm going to the Yukon in August, which is one of our territories like way up north. And like, I have no idea what we're going to be doing while we're up there. I have to look stuff up because I have no idea what we're going to do. Because it's like out in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, there's not a lot of stuff for tourists to do in Canada. Almost everybody that comes to Canada goes to the falls. If you're in BC, then you can go to like the beaches and stuff there because BC is beautiful. BC is like Colorado. It's got the mountains and all that kind of stuff. It's beautiful. And then there's our islands, but our islands are cold. So like you can go there for fresh seafood. You're going to see the ocean. You're on this tiny little island. But it's not like being in the UK where you're also on an island and you're going to get fresh seafood and stuff. But there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of history there. Canada is fairly new, so there's not a lot of like ancient history here. And the stuff that's from indigenous people was all taken away. So like there's nothing to see here really. It's a beautiful country, but it can only be appreciated by living here. Because that's where we'll see the differences. But to like come from the States, I'm not going to bring my family out here and be like, hey, let's go camping for a week in the middle of the wilderness. Like, that's not fun. You know what I mean? Moa, hello. How's it going? I don't like Montreal. I've been there. I don't like Montreal. Yeah, I've seen that, Chadley. There's somebody that was part of our group. Our group, as in like when we all started, we all streamed like Mario Maker and stuff together, who every time I've seen them for the last like 4 years, they've averaged between 25 to 35 viewers all the time. And I saw them vertical and they had like over 100 viewers. I tried, I didn't get anybody. The first day I tried, I had like 6 or 7 watching me vertically. And then after that, it was at 0. And then it stuck at 0 the next 2 streams I did. So I haven't really been interested in trying again. Because at least with TikTok, it stays at 0, but I see people pop in and then they pop over to YouTube or Twitch. Whereas with the YouTube vertical, it didn't seem to do any good for me. That's so funny you say that, Night Owl, because originally I thought it was the Northwest Territories I was going to. And I was telling my brother, and I said it as a joke. I said that we were going to the North American territories. And then he sent me a video of Yvonne the Yukon. Yvonne of the Yukon. He sent me a video of that, and then I found out we're actually going to the Yukon. That's so funny. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean others don't. No, absolutely. For Americans coming to Quebec, at least everybody I've spoken to, they only come when they're 19 years old to go drinking. There are things in Quebec, you're right, there are things in Quebec like the comedy festival and all that stuff for sure. Yeah, that would be the only other thing I would say. Yeah, it seems to be hit or miss with the vertical. But yeah, I think YouTube is trying to compete with TikTok, which I'm not a big fan of because somebody did this in a video where they talked about how successful Instagram, YouTube, and at the time Musical.ly or Vine were. And it was because they were 3 different things doing 3 different styles. And now they're all trying to do all styles, and it's losing its individuality. And so then the audience is just getting split, but not in a way that actually benefits anybody. Because before, if I wanted to watch short form, I would go on TikTok. If I wanted to watch long form, I would go on YouTube. I've never cared about pictures, but like if you wanted to look at pictures, you'd go to Instagram. Now they all try to do the exact same thing. And it's like now, if I'm on YouTube, I have 0 reason to check out Instagram or TikTok. But YouTube isn't doing it as well as Instagram would for like, or not Instagram because they don't really do pictures, but like the community thing for Twitter. They don't do it as efficiently as Twitter did. they don't do the video stuff as well as TikTok does. So it's like, yeah, it seems like it's just like and because they're concentrating on that stuff, the long form content isn't doing as well on YouTube. And then TikTok is having the opposite problem. They're getting rid of the short form stuff. They're trying to push the long form stuff, but it doesn't work on TikTok. It's just like a weird thing. Yeah, I think YouTube's way of splitting things up, of keeping things organized, is definitely better than TikTok. TikTok, there is nothing appealing about TikTok. I'm not a fan of the vertical camera thing. I'm not a fan of the For You page. I like the For You page as an option, but I much prefer how on YouTube I can click subscriptions and I can see everything that my subscriptions have posted. At least according to what the algorithm wants to show me, but I can see the stuff that I'm interested in. I get alerts for the exact ones that I want to see all the time. So I always know when they're posting stuff. There's a much more steady schedule so I can learn it. Whereas YouTube, I have no idea when people are posting stuff because I just randomly see it. And like you said, you can see it from like months in the past. So I don't know when they're posting fresh stuff. It's so annoying. I've been okay, Moa. I've been okay. Anyways, let's get started on this. I've been chatting and I've been meaning to play. Hey, what happened? Why is the game not making sound? Hold on. Can I see it? Is it not plugged into the right thing? It's not plugged into the right thing. Oh, wait. Oh, and the other camera's frozen. Look at the face I'm making. Look at the face I'm making. Wait, did the cam link freeze again? Really? So weird. Oh, I returned it, Night Owl. I returned it. Hold on. I gotta tell you, I forgot I didn't tell you about it. I forgot I didn't tell you about it. I gotta tell you about it. There it is. Okay. So I had the Streamer X. Hold on, I just gotta add it. That's what happened. Is I didn't add the right capture card for the game. I don't think. Is it this one? It's this one. It's just not plugged in. Okay, hold on. I switched things around and I didn't plug things in the way they're supposed to be. Hold on a sec. Oh. Come on. Again. I literally had that thing, you know, where like you plug it in one way and it doesn't fit, and then you plug it in a different way and then it does fit. I had that thing happen. And why isn't it fitting the screen though? That's so weird. Oh, it's not even fitting the screen on my main screen. I messed everything up. I froze again. Don't leave just yet, Night Owl. Don't leave just yet. Hello, cam link. The cam link froze again. I don't know what's going on with this cam link. It keeps freezing lately. Why I stopped using it originally, but then it was working okay for a while. Now it's freezing again. There we go. Please don't freeze again. Now that I'm not touching anything. Please, please. Okay. Let's exit the game and go back in. Maybe that'll fix it. Okay, so speaking of the Streamer X, so I got the first one and the software files were not included, so I couldn't update it, but it wouldn't let me use it without updating it. And so they sold me a used one that somebody had wiped the files because there was a way to turn it into like a portable hard drive mode so you could reset it, and somebody deleted the wrong files and it just wasn't working. So I returned it and went to a local store because I got it from Amazon. I went to a local store and bought it brand new. And it was great. Everything was awesome. It was working the way that I wanted, had all the features that I wanted. I was super happy. A little bit expensive, but super happy. And then they updated it. And it really bothered me because all of their promo talks about how the monitoring is a direct feed and it's all done in hardware. It doesn't use software for anything. But then the update added a delay to the audio. If it's all done in hardware, why did a software update wreck the monitor? But to make it more complicated, the monitor on, because StreamerX, Rode has two separate softwares. They have like 3 or 4, but two main separate softwares. They have the Rode Connect, and then they had Rode Unify. Rode Connect is what you use to connect all the different microphones through USB, and you can use it on your computer to like what sound's going to be coming through. And you get 2 outs. You get the headphones and you get the out for the stream or whatever. Rode Unify is more like Wavelink, where you have multiple outs and you can control all the different channels, and you can control each one's submix for each one of the outs. So there was like a chat channel, a headphone channel, a monitor channel, the stream channel, and each one could have their own submix. So it was perfect for me because I could have one out for my microphone, so that way I could put it into OBS. So when I do Minecraft, I could have one channel just my voice and one channel just the game sound. I had the stream out, which allowed me to do everything that you guys would hear. And then I had a third out that I could use for just my alerts, so I could have my loud alerts. It was perfect. When I would use Rode's Connect software, the stuff that's way more limited, no software delay, no monitor issue. Everything was perfect. The Unify software had a delay, and it wasn't a good delay. It was to the point where I was talking like this because I couldn't hear myself because it was so hard to hear. I emailed them and it took them 3 days to get back to me and say, yeah, sorry, it's an update issue. Here's the link to the previous update. We'll let you know when we get the newest update that corrects this issue. I only had about 5 days to return the thing. So before they got back to me, I returned it. And because it took them so long to get back to me, and because it was a software issue, and all their promo says it's hardware based, I just felt like I was lied to. Because don't tell me that your monitor is a direct feed from the hardware when it relies on the software and the software can mess it up, when the monitor is one of the most important things that I use. So I got myself a Roland Bridgecast. I hope this doesn't mess up the sound. I got myself a Roland Bridgecast. You can see it on this channel here. You're not going to see it TikTok, but you can see it here, which is something that nobody really talks about. Every video that I've seen has been done by creators with less than 5,000 followers. Each video has less than 5,000 views, and nobody's talked about it. And I saw it because when I was looking to see, because I was going to get a Wavelink. I was going to give in, I was just going to get the Wavelink. And then I saw this. And this one was like $75 or $100 more than the Wavelink. And then they had a used one that was $10 cheaper than the Wavelink. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to risk it because I can return it if it doesn't work. And I'll get that. And it's basically a Go XLR. Like, it just basically does everything the Go XLR did, plus a bit more. Because it's got the better preamp in it, so it's got even more volume than the Go XLR did. Because the Go XLR, if I remember correctly, it does something like 60 decibels in hardware, and then it did the other like 10 or 15 in software. So it was digital amplifying at the end. So the Shure SM7B, you basically had to max out for it to actually work, like to work decently. Whereas this has 75 of actual preamp decibels. So like I have my volume at like half for this thing, and it's like at the point of peaking. It's got the built-in filters. It's got like the de-esser and all that kind of stuff built into it. It's also got the voice changer in it, but it's also got knobs for it, so I can like turn it on and I can switch within here, but I can even change it while I'm live. So I can actually change my voice and tweak it while I'm playing, which I really like. I don't have to go into the software to do it. It also has the submix for my headphones, but with a push of a button, I can hear the submix for you guys. So it's not like the Go XLR, where the Go XLR, I could hear what you hear, and that was the only choice I had unless I used like voice meter banana or whatever. But I can just push a button and hear what you're hearing, and then push another button and go back to hearing what I want to hear. Each button underneath can be individually assigned that. I wish there were actual buttons for it, but like the mute button can be assigned to be a mute button, but it can also be a MIDI button. It could also be a sound effect button. So you can do pretty much whatever you want with those buttons. For the price of the Wavelink XLR, I'm pretty happy with this. And it does more than the Wave XLR thing does. I still really liked the Rode one because it had the built-in capture card, and it was a really nice capture card. It allowed my sound to be even more organized. But knowing that their software could mess up my sound that badly, and who knows how long it would be before they fixed it, I wasn't very keen on sticking with them for that price. So far, I'm really happy. Roland is a great brand. I'm surprised more content creators haven't really talked about it as much. But for the price, I'm really happy with it. Like the Wavelink I know is great too. I've heard amazing things, but it's far more limited than this is. And Roland being a proper sound company, I just feel very reassured by the sound quality. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it, honestly. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's really small, which I really like, but it has all the features that I want, and I still have my own volume to I have a volume to turn you guys up and down if it's too loud or too quiet. I have a master volume for the line out, so if I send out to like another PC or whatever, and I have a master volume for my headphones. It's like there are multiple controls that all at the fingertips. It still has the same problem as the Rode does, where I can't control it with my Stream Deck, but there are workarounds. There are things that I'm actually sending through the Wavelink software and from the Wavelink software into the Roland, which is what I've done for like things like the music that I play on my browser. It goes into the Wavelink, and then from the Wavelink it goes into this. And so that it just gives me the option to be able to mute my music and stuff on my Stream Deck, but I can also mute it on here. So it's like I've got options. It's a bit of a workaround, but I've got options. Yeah, technology has definitely improved. That's it. Yeah, exactly. And that's how I was using my Go XLR. I was using my Go XLR actually just for my microphone, and everything else was going through the stream, the Wavelink. And then from the Wavelink back into the Go XLR, so it would go to my headphones. But yeah, right now the way I've got it set up is the individual things that I have. I'll point out, then I'll get started because we've been talking for a while. Like literally right now, it's just the music that I have going out of my Wavelink into my Wavelink and out of my Wavelink into the Bridgecaster. And then the Bridgecaster controls the game sound. It controls my voice, controls everything else. Oh, and the alerts are going through the Wavelink as well, just so you guys have one level and I have a different level. But it's good. It's not as powerful as the Roland one was. It's not as diverse as the Wavelink one is, but for what I need in particular, it's pretty much everything. I'm just a little bit spoiled because the Wavelink or the Rode had the 2 channels, the 2 USB ports, and I didn't realize how valuable that was, because what I was doing was I had my PlayStation going into the capture card in the Rode mixer. And then I had the USB from my PC going into the Rode mixer, and then the USB from my streaming PC into the Rode mixer. And so I could have the sound from my gaming PC go out into the Rode mixer from the USB, and have the sound from my PlayStation go into the Rode mixer through the HDMI. So there was no delay with the sound on either of them. And I could still divide it so I would have a sub mix for both. And then I had my PC plugged into HDMI into the regular capture card on the PC. And because of the way the new capture cards work, I don't have to use voice meter or anything to split the sound and end up with a small delay in the audio. It was really nice. And I didn't have to keep switching USB ports and stuff. Whereas right now I'm back to switching because no capture card. And this doesn't have the dual USB connection. And then I really, really liked having wireless connectivity with the Rode one. But the Rode one was also like $500. This was only $250. Like, it's half the price. It's things I'm willing to give up for the savings and money. But yeah, I sent it back, which I'm bummed out about because I thought it was really great hardware. The software is just something I wasn't willing to rely on them with, because for all I know, it could have been weeks that they would have taken to fix it. There are things that in reviews they've talked about from when it was released, and the YouTuber would be like, I've spoken to them, they said they're gonna release an update, and the video's a year old and the update still hasn't been released. And so I'm like, I don't know if this delay is going to be permanent, and I don't want to run out of my return window and have something I can't use because the delay is so horrible and I need the monitor. So I returned it, and this, I'm very happy with it. And the fact that it's metal, so I know it just feels sturdy in the hand, and I like it. I really like it. And it doesn't look streamery, like it's got RGB and stuff. It doesn't look streamery, but I do like that it looks like a professional sound mixer. I feel like I'm with my band with this thing. I really like it. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, so bummed out, but it is what it is, you know. I'm still debating on whether I want to keep using this microphone or not. I don't really like having it in my face all the time. But the other microphone, I would have to use the TRS cable, and that introduces noise, and I don't know if I want to do that too. Oh, man. I mean, you could Michael Jackson, but they weren't easy to do like they are now. Like now it's... Okay, no, it didn't. What the heck? How did it... What happened? It minimized my window for some reason. That's so weird. Again? And now I can't even exit it. What's going on here? Why is this freaking out? Yeah, and that's the problem, Night Owl, is like I like the way this mic sounds. I love the quality of the microphone, which is why I like using it. But I liked the white microphone from Mayono or whatever they're called. I liked their white microphone. I just didn't like how it sounded as much. I also really liked the Rode video mic because it wasn't in my face, but introduced a lot of room noise. And because of the TRS cable, it introduces the digital noise. And I tried using one of the noise canceling thingies, you know, the little box, whatever they're called, ground isolator loop. And it doesn't work when it's used on a microphone. So I couldn't use it that way. And by using that, then I lose the functionality of the XLR on this. So then there's no point in this whole mixer. And so it's like, that sucks. That sucks. Yeah, and that was what I was thinking. I was like, I'm gonna have to just buy myself a really good XLR shotgun microphone. Yeah, one of those NTGs, those like $500-600 ones. But please don't kick me out of the window again. Okay, it's working. Cool. But I don't remember what we were doing. I found the note, but as far as I can tell, there's no number written on it. So there's got to be a number written on it. I just got to figure out how to do the code, how to find the code or whatever. Can I put it in the projector, maybe? Oh, I want to put it in here. Like, maybe the brightness. Nope. Maybe I shine the light with this? I don't know, man. But yeah, I am happy with the sound quality of this thing. And like, I don't actually dislike this microphone. I just don't like having something in my face all the time. And I'm slowly growing to not like the boomer The boomy broadcasty sound. I'm starting to like more of that natural, emptier sound. But yeah, I haven't really found the fine balance of how I want my voice to sound. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what I decide. It's really dark. Oh crap, yeah, I didn't change the thumbnail. You're right. You're right. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. I probably messed up the video again. I probably messed up the game again. Right? It's not gonna fit anymore? Of course not. Dang it! That's not your fault, Michael Jackson, in case it came out that way. It was me, 100% me. I didn't need to press Alt-Tab, but I did anyway. I messed up my video. Let's change that thumbnail. I meant to do that as soon as the stream started and I forgot. There. There we go. It's less boomy than SM7B. Yeah, it's completely a preference. I like the boomy sound. I'm just slowly moving away from it. I don't mind it for the stream. I do like how the stream sounds when it's all boomy. But when I'm doing like Minecraft videos, I don't like how it sounds boomy because it doesn't sound natural. Every time I watch my own videos, when I'm describing what's happening, when I'm talking to the camera, like when I have the third person view for my character, I always felt that it didn't feel like my character was talking. And I couldn't figure out why. And then I was watching a bunch of other videos and then I went and watched mine and I was like, oh, it's because I'm really boomy. Like it sounds very broadcasty, which doesn't sound like a natural voice. So right now what I'm trying is by having this pop filter, it forces me to be further away from the microphone. And so I'm hoping to see if maybe that will help make it sound a little bit more natural. But yeah, I know the Wave, the Elgato makes really good microphones. I don't want to buy more microphones. And I like the Wavelink software, but I do really like having stuff built into the hardware and not relying on the software because Elgato relies so much on software-based stuff. There is still a latency with the monitor, and because I use the monitor, that's just not acceptable for me. I already get latency because of the wireless. But the latency that I hear sounds more like a small reverb and not like delay. But once I use the Wavelink software, the delay is just enough that I can't speak with it. So Elgato just isn't something that I can really rely on because they are software based and it's not capable of doing what I want. Now I know the Wave XLR has the headphone out, which I assume you can send any audio stuff through there to go out into your headphones, which would have been an option, but I don't know how it would work with like the filters and stuff, like if there would be a delay introduced because of adding filters and stuff, or if I just wouldn't hear the filters when I'm listening to myself, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I've heard amazing things, and it's just my own idiosyncrasy of needing to use the monitor. Compressing my microphone. I don't actually compress my microphone for Minecraft. Oh no, it's on my. I lied. It's on my thing, my recording. No, I haven't tried that. I'll try that. I'll try that for sure. I hadn't thought of that. That's a really good idea. That's a really, really good idea. So how do I make this thing legible? There's got to be like some kind of thing I dip it in or a light that I put it in front of for it to read the note. But yeah, that's a really, I hadn't even thought about the compressor thing. Because when you said it, I was like, I don't put compressor on it. I don't put it when I'm editing. It's in it because it's built into the system. And one of the things I can do with the buttons on this is I can switch profiles on the Roland, which the Go XLR, you could do it through the software, but you couldn't do it through just a push of a button. I'm gonna make sure that when I have the other profile, I have it set up so it turns the compressor down. That's not a bad idea. Seems like the game might be slightly loud for you guys. Oh! I didn't realize I was like, my gameplay sound is really quiet. I was listening to the stream sound. I wasn't listening to my own sound. Okay, so refinery, section C. I was just in shaft 12, right? Maybe it's in the refinery then? Okay. Oh wait, I think the refinery, the door does, no, is it section 12 the door doesn't work? I can't remember. Okay, it's locked. I don't have the nerve to play these games on my own. Believe it or not, like, I like horror, I like being scared. I don't like doing it when I'm on my own. It's more fun when somebody else is here because then being scared is silly. And so me being scared and other people laughing at it is more acceptable for me. Whereas when I'm by myself and I get scared, I'm just scared. And I don't like just being scared. I like the funniness at the end of it. So yeah, I don't have the nerves to do it on my own. Definitely don't have the nerves to do it on my own. Okay, so I think this is the one that I can't actually go into. It's broken or something, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. But yeah, I'm just a coward. And so I get scared very easily, and I definitely don't enjoy this on my own. That is not something I'm a fan of. Okay, so not in the liquid. Why couldn't I do this earlier? It didn't let me do it, the projector. I wanted to use it in the projector and now it's letting me do it? Okay. Let me head back to the projector room. But yeah, it's like horror movies. I like scary movies. I love scary movies. I don't watch scary movies on my own. I haven't actually the last scary movie I watched was Train to Busan, and that was like a year ago, almost a year ago that I watched it. And I haven't watched anything since then. And Kendra won't watch scary movies. And so like, I don't really have anybody to watch scary movies with, so I haven't watched a scary movie in a while, but I love scary movies. I just, again, it's the funniness of being scared and everybody laughing at how scared I am. I feel like, no, but the steam would hurt me, right? Like if I do this. Nope. Yeah, that movie was amazing. I had heard so many good things about it and I've been wanting to watch it for a long time. And then they got rid of it on Netflix. And so I didn't know where to watch it. And then I found What thing was it on? I don't remember what it was on, but it was on one of those like free apps, but it was with commercials or whatever. And I watched it on there, and I was blown away by how much I enjoyed it, and how like it hit me at the right time too, because it was like right when Nora had moved out and stuff. But like I got so emotional at the end of it. I really, really liked that movie. I really loved it. You watched it on Prime Video? Nice, we went nice. I have to get back up to shaft 12, I think. So if I go to the end and to the right, is this the way? No, that's shaft 13. Shaft 12. I'm so disoriented. Where am I now? I just went in a circle. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the right, to the left, and to the right. You just received a new book. Nice. What kind of book? Man, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Is it shaft 12 or is it in here? I think it's shaft 12. A Court of Thorns and Roses. That sounds like it's another Hunger Games book. What is it? Oh, it's smut. That's why it's about thorns and roses. I can't judge anybody for the books they read because, like, I basically read zombie books. I don't read anything interesting or mind challenging. Okay, so that's on. But see, when I'm in this room, it won't let me actually like pull out the note. It won't let me pull out the note in this room. Am I not supposed to use it in there? Okay, so I guess I can't use it in this area. I've got to find a different spot to use it then. Probably better than 50 Shades. Well, I've never read 50 Shades or watched the movie, even though I think Dakota Johnson is like incredibly beautiful. Never watched the movie either. Eyes are starting to burn. Yeah, see, now I can pull it out. So there's got to be somewhere to use the book, but I don't know where. Something Hub? Yeah, I've never visited it either. I may be on it, but I never visited it. Okay, what's in the refinery? No, wait, the refinery's locked. I can't do the refinery. I couldn't do thing 12. If I go down and to the left... I thought you meant book talk. These are marked as steam pipes. They do quite some damage. Maybe I could use them. Use them for what, though? What would you use them for? I've already killed the animals. It has long short form content as well. It does. It's like me in the bedroom, except I'm missing the long form content. Okay, Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. So the refinery is locked. I've been to 12, I've been to 13. Where's the map? Where's the friggin' map? Show me the map. What's this room? Okay, so this is where I came from. So I can't go anywhere but here. So there's got to be something I could do. More like smut talk. Okay, what's in section C? There are some books, though, I gotta tell you. Some authors, they know how to tickle your fancy, that's for sure. There was one series that I read, and it was written by a woman, and it was a zombie survival book. And the book itself was really interesting. Like, it had a decent plot, but I don't even remember the plot anymore because it's been a few years since I read it. But then like halfway through the book, and it was so uncomfortable because I was taking care of old people at the time, and I'm sitting there taking care of this guy who would sleep all my whole shift. And he is sleeping, and I'm sitting in the chair next to him, and I'm reading this book, and then she starts describing all the things that the guy is doing to her. And I'm just like, whoa, this is hot. Grandpa Joe, this is hot. Leave the room, please. Some stuff that gets written down, it's like, wow. I didn't know my imagination could do that. Okay, but if that's where the code is, how do I unlock the code? I don't know who that is. I don't see anything that tells me how to see what's on this note. What are you thinking? We're thinking about how to get out of here, dude. What am I not thinking? I don't see anything on the top shelves. I'm not even gonna say anything, Weewin. I'm not even gonna say anything, because anything that I can say would just be dirty with you watching smut shows on Netflix. I don't need to know. My eyes are probably all swollen. They're stinging so bad right now. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, the thriller writer. I don't know, man. Karen Slaughter does sound like a thriller writer name, but it also could be a lady name. You know what I mean? One of those ladies of the night. Ladies of the night. I've heard that. I don't know if I've actually seen that show. I don't have Netflix, so I'm not in touch with anything that's out right now. You have spoiled me. You have, we win. What the heck, man? I don't know what to do. So that one says the door will never open again. The refinery. I'm confused. I'm not paying attention to where I'm going. I'm just like wandering around, and because the maps are so randomly placed, I have no idea where to even look for the map to know where to go. Okay. Shaft 12, no. I was in section C and tool. Let's head to shaft 13 then. So we're gonna go right all the way to the end, then left, then right. I never did that. I always just wandered around. I've never had a good sense of direction. It always drove me nuts that I never knew where anything was. And my brother, on the other hand, my brother just memorizes everything. He just knows where things are. He's like my dad. My dad was the same way. My dad would go visit a place one time and he would know how to get there. And not just that, he'd be able to like find different ways to get to the same place. Me, on the other hand, I'll visit the same place 20 times and I still need my GPS just in case. I already told you, my shaft isn't very big. What the? Didn't this have a lid earlier? I thought I had, look, that has, no it doesn't, it's just the way that it looked, never mind. Can I like put that in there? Can I put the paper on top of this, like there? I don't know, place it on top of there, put it in the steam room, I don't know, man. Yeah, Kendra's been having to do the same thing. She doesn't use a GPS, she seems to have pretty decent sense of direction. I don't. She's not used to giving direction because she drives and she drives herself everywhere. She hasn't really had to have a moron ask her where to go all the time. And she, okay, if I'm here, I went to the refinery and it's locked, isn't it? I don't freaking know. And so she's working on like giving directions, but she's still a little bit slow at giving directions only because she just isn't used to it. She just isn't used to somebody not knowing where they're going ever. But she's also not used to using a GPS, so whenever I go to turn it on, she's like, no, just leave it. Because she knows a better route, but it's like, yeah, but I need something that constantly tells me where to go. I need the constant reassurance. My direction insecurity is getting the best of me. Okay, so this is the refinery, which I can't get into. All right. So 13. But yeah, I'm useless with directions. I had a girlfriend once that, this was before GPSs were like really a mainstream thing, and she used to be the worst at giving directions because she would tell me after I missed the spot. Like we'd be driving on the highway and we'd go past the exit. She'd be like, that was the exit you were supposed to take. It's like, thanks, you were supposed to tell me beforehand, because it would be like a place that she knew where we were going. And she's like, yeah, I thought you knew. I was like, no, I told you I don't know where I'm going. And then we'd go all the way around, get back on the highway, and then again, that was where you're supposed to go. It's like, you should have told me. Always, always. And it's not all her fault, it's 100% me, because there are times that I'm looking at my GPS, I know, okay, the exit's coming up, and I'll still miss the exit. Okay, this is just a dead end. Oh, me neither. I lived there for 7 or 8 years, and yeah, I could never figure out where to go. Like, even now, when I was doing the giant tiger in town, I would drive by where I used to live, and I couldn't tell you to save the life, I couldn't tell you for the life of me, I was gonna say for the life of me and to save my life, both. I couldn't tell you for the life of me how to get to where I used to live when I was there. I couldn't even tell you where I lived when I was living on my own out there. I'm just useless with directions in general. Man, okay, it doesn't seem like there's anything in here either. Keeps giving me beef jerky, but that's not gonna help me in any way. It's okay, I got batteries now. I'm hearing what sounds like spiders, and I don't like it. Wait, do I not... Does it automatically put the batteries into the light? I can't, like... I thought I manually put the batteries in. I've been using it thinking that the batteries were just... Oh, okay, don't use the light then. The GPS can be confusing sometimes. Not really. It can... The part that can get confusing is the scale of things. That's the problem I have, is sometimes my GPS makes it look like the exit is really close when it's actually like way down the street. Or sometimes I'm thinking it looks close, so it's probably way down the street and it's actually right there. Or the worst is when it's one of those roads that like divides into two, but the GPS doesn't actually show me which one. It'll just like split it on the map, but I can't tell because they're so close together. Like they'll be like split and then they both turn. So it's like it'll show me the left turn, but they both turn left. So am I going on the right one that turns left or on the left one that turns left? That's the part that really confuses me. I don't like that part. Okay, so shaft 13 is nothing. Refinery is nothing. I don't know how to read the note. Oh yeah, same here, Ty. Same here. I hate that. I hate that so much. Tell me intersections, or tell me like at the Costco, turn left. Tell me that. That'll help me. Yeah, Michael Jackson, that's always the benefit. When you're not the one driving, you don't have to be blamed for getting lost. Okay, Penumbra, Overture, door code. I don't even remember what door it is. Oh. Okay. I was kind of on the right track. Not really, but kind of. Hold on. Hold on. I don't remember what... I think it's shaft 12, right? So we're gonna go to the end, to the right, left, then right, left, then right. Yes, I know I just looked at the map, but I have to look at it again. I remember those days, printing out on paper, not knowing if it's accurate or up to date. Yep, I remember those days. I remember the days, now I didn't do it because I was little, but I remember seeing my parents do it because we went on like really long road trips. I remember my parents having proper paper maps and then sitting down with somebody who's done the trip before and highlighting the road that they were gonna take the whole way. And like, it's hard enough when you're doing like a road in town, but my parents went from here all the way to El Salvador, so they had to do like Canadian roads, American roads, Mexican roads, and Guatemalan roads. Those days were wild, man. They still use paper maps. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Yeah, I rely on my GPS for everything now. And it makes me laugh because like, okay, something about this, this. There it is. There's writing scrawled everywhere. There must be ultraviolet ink. Definitely the product of a deranged mind, but whose? Ah, the UV light. There's some text showing up on the blank piece of paper. 1371. After all that work, and we were already in this room to begin the stream, so that was a lot of work. I would have never thought about doing that. But yeah, I rely on my GPS for everything now. I remember when I was younger, but when GPS wasn't something that was built into your phone, and you would buy a car and the car would have GPS, but you would pay an extra like 10 grand on the car to upgrade to the GPS, but the GPS was like on a DVD or on an SD card, and if you wanted to upgrade, you have to like take it in so they would update it and give you a new one. And then I remember I bought, because I've always done this, I haven't done it with this car because I don't want to mess with it because it's newer and warranty and all that, but I've always bought an upgraded stereo system for all my cars. And they always had like a DVD player in it, but I always made sure they also had a GPS in it for that exact reason. I wanted to make sure that I had the ability to get wherever I wanted. And then cars started to have it because of Apple CarPlay or Google, whatever that one's called, Google Auto or whatever. And it's been a lifesaver. Oh, it's so nice now having it built into cars. And like you just plug your phone in and you know it's going to be relatively up to date. I mean, they don't always keep up to date, but it's relatively up to date. It's really nice. Yeah, you can have like Eric Cartman for voices. Yeah. That was like Windows. My friend and I thought it was hilarious. We recorded ourselves doing a bunch of voices, and then we like sped up the voices or slowed them down. So then we
sounded like this, and like when we it was like this. And when we would like minimize or expand windows, it'd be like, ooh, so big and fluffy. And then when we made it smaller, it was like, ooh, so small and not fluffy.
And we thought it was the funniest thing in the world because you could like add sound effects to everything. Vader, yeah, exactly. You would add like all the famous voices to things. Exactly, Ty. Oh, and I'd be yelled at all the time. I would be yelled at all the time. But yeah, I remember those days. I like I said, I remember buying car decks with the GPS in them because I needed one. But I've never used the audio. I always turn it off. I find it too irritating. Because it's always bing bing. In 200 meters, turn left. Hold on. Bing bing. In 200 meters, turn left. Bing bing. In 150 meters, turn left. Bing bing. In 100 meters, turn left. Bing bing. Recalculating. Every time. So I was like, you know what? No, I don't need you to tell me 50 times to turn left. I'm just gonna miss it on my own. The TomTom voices, yeah. I think I had Homer on mine. But yeah, back in the day with all the Windows packages, you would add all the different like looks to things and all the way that you would make the themes sound and all this, yeah. I even missed the loading sounds that Windows had. Like the dring, dring, ding, 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 ding. I missed that. It's kind of like how cars were and how houses used to be, where it was actually like a piece of art. And Windows, not that Windows was a piece of art because it was pretty ugly up until fairly recently, but just the fact that Windows had nice like themes and music and stuff like that. And then they got rid of all of it. Now it's all like neutral and blank. You found your Windows 98 key. Oh my gosh. That's too funny. I liked Windows 98. I enjoyed Windows 98. Oh wait, that's this room. That's not where I want to go. Oh, I don't remember where that door is. Okay, where did we just go? I just went to shaft 13. I don't want shaft 13. Section C. Yep. But then sometimes you'd go to download something and it turned out to actually be... What? 1371. You would download it and it actually turned out to be like a virus. Oh crap. He saw me. I wasn't ready. Where's the hammer? I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. Yeah, and it would be like, the music would be like this. Hold on, is this still playing? Yeah, it's still playing. Hold on. And the music would be like... DJ 561 in the house. The real remix.
Listen to the music. That beat drop.
Dad, what's wrong with him?
I don't know. Follow at djaltimate.com.
I freaking hated it. I hated it so much. And the worst part is, in El Salvador, that is what DJs do to the music. They'll be talking while the music is playing, and they'll actually lower the volume every time they want to talk, and they'll just talk in the middle of music. I hated it so much because I'm like, dudes, they're listening to the radio to hear the song. They don't want to hear you talk the whole time. Whoa. Like, we get it, you're the DJ, but like, dude, let me listen to the song. Talk in between the songs. Where are you?
Really, the hunger is becoming rather uncomfortable here. How far away are you? You cannot be far. I am held captive by a wall of stone in the northeast of the mine. As in any drama, there are many roles to be played. You must act the scientist in mixing potions, act the renegade in plots of destruction. On your travels for the tools with which you will fashion my rescue, you may discover the place of my last meal. Be careful. The shiny, solid floor of water is not as solid as it seems. Poor Red was almost swallowed whole. The two foolsy men who plummeted into my domain have long since departed, though not I expect from whence they came. I ate ravenously of biped meat that day, but Red promises feasting only began when the man became pungent, when the stench of life had gone, and only the sweet aroma of decay remained.
But yeah, man, those days. Or like, you would try to download a movie. I never did, because I never did that kind of stuff. You would try to download a movie and then it turns out to be like an adult film of that movie. Or it's like a weird like Russian version of the movie. And it's just like, what is this? It's not even like the actual movie with dub. It's just Russian actors like redoing the movie. There's always weird stuff that would happen when you would try to download stuff on there. Okay. 2003. Can you imagine how, like, it's been 21 years. Ah, stuff like that makes me feel so old. It's crazy. Oh, 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 oh! Parkour! 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 Uh-oh. Okay, that was not where you wanted to go. AOL, I remember AOL. There were chat rooms in AOL when chat rooms were really a popular thing. And I still remember, I must have been about 12. No, maybe a little bit older. Maybe, no, about 12. I was about 12. And there was this girl that I started talking to. Well, I mean, I think it was a girl. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was a girl. I don't know. But her name was, I think it was Princess Lisa. I think it was Princess Lisa. And we talked for a few days. And then I got a message from another user saying that they were her dad and that they didn't want me speaking to her because they didn't know if I was actually a kid or if I was a 40-year-old man, and that if I contacted her again, he would be calling the police on me. And I remember writing a big letter, like apologizing, begging him not to call the police, that my parents would be mad and that I was actually only 12 and, you know, all this stuff. And then he just never responded. And I was so scared for weeks on end that the police were going to get called to my house. Why? I don't know, because I was 12. It wasn't like I was an adult doing it, so there was nothing I could have gotten in trouble for. But I was terrified that I was going to get arrested for talking to a little girl when I was a little boy. Oh, man. Yes, there was MSN Messenger, but AOL was the American Internet Service Provider, and then they had chat rooms. MSN Messenger was to talk to people you added. AOL, you could do that, but you also had just like empty rooms you could go into and just anybody could join, you could talk to them. And AOL offered the internet service, so they would give away free discs and you'd get like 2 weeks of free internet. And so you would install it and then you could plug your internet in and you could use AOL for 2 weeks. And that's how I met Princess, I think her name was Princess Lisa, and I was so scared. I was so terrified. Mortal Kombat 2 on DOS. Oh man, that's crazy. That's so crazy. I'm sad I didn't keep my old stuff. There's some classic things that I wish I would have kept. Seal the door here. Oh! It closed nice and quick, thank goodness, but he's gonna break through, isn't it? I knew it. Come on, in the water. Oh, go. Seal the door. Can't seal the door. Go. Damn it, it's taking too long. How do I... Oh, this. Whew. Okay, I was able to figure it out.
Oh, my brain can barely imagine the feats of action men like heroics you must be performing to save old Red. I am waiting so close now for you to blow down the walls of my earthbound prison cell and release me from this mortal coil.
Wait, I wish I would have kept my old discs. Like, I had those, like, freeware, shareware discs. I miss shareware days. Like, Wacky Wheels was one of the games I had, which was basically like Mario Kart on PC. Oh, now I can do it quickly. Or, like, Commander Keen. I owned Commander Keen. Or the original Doom. Man. Those were the days. Those were the days. You should. I went on a bit of a kick probably about 6 months ago, where I was looking at all the people who now run emulators for old DOS games and old Windows games so you could replay them. And there were so many games on their list, because there's like websites now that are just for abandonware, for companies that don't exist anymore. You could just get the games from there. And like, so many games I wish I could play again. So many games I wish I could revisit and just experience now as an adult and see what I would think of them. Yeah, You would buy like the disc, and it would have a bunch of games on there. Now I don't know how it was where you were, but like here the game wouldn't be the full game. You would buy the disc, and it was like $10, and it was like 20 games in it, but they were all only like the first few levels, and then you could mail the people. It would say at the end of the demo, you know, send us $10 at this address, and we'll send you a copy of the game. And it was always so cool, but I was a little kid. I was poor. I didn't have the money to do that. I was always more than happy to just play the demo part of the game over and over and over again. That's so cool, we would. Got a bunch of chemicals. Oh, that kind of sounds like it. Sounds just like it. Okay. There, it's me. I'm inside that box, and outside it, I can't get things straight in my head. Magnesium, calcium, barium, chloride, phosphorus, and sodium. So there's 6 of them. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing 1. Back when you did IT. Back when we all did stuff like that, because there's been talks from teachers nowadays that kids now that are in school have 0 idea how to use computers. Okay, we got a bunch of chemicals. Like there's a lot of talk from teachers that kids don't know how to use computers. And it's has to do a lot with when we grew up. Like we all grew up during a time when computers were still trying to be figured out. They were going from being very complicated, like the old Apple computers, to being like all DOS based, let's say. Not Apple, because Apple was one of the first to go easier, but like it was one of the first computers were like all code in DOS. And then they slowly started to add Windows and Apple and all that kind of stuff, and it got easier to use, but we learned how to do all that. And even when they were easier, you still had to explore folders, you still had to like do a bunch of steps to get something simple done. Whereas now, kids are so used to using apps that when they have to use a PC and do something outside of just an app, they have 0 idea how to access anything. And it's, there are certain studies that are being performed right now that are showing that boomers are able to use computers better than kids nowadays are. And it's very surprising that kids can't pick up on computers now, but it's because they made computers so user-friendly that kids have 0 idea how to do anything except for what's right in front of them, which is wild. Do I need to go to the incinerator? Oh, dude, I hope you do get one. It's a nightmare not having one. I know the nightmare. I get it. I hope you're able to get one and get everything set up. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. And when they have a PC, it's just for playing games. So they learn how to install Steam, and then they learn how to open the apps. They don't know how to like search through files and folders and the hidden folders and all that, like registry, all that kind of stuff. They don't know how any of that works. And it's for some teachers it's worrisome because they're not able to problem solve for certain things, which means there is going to be a high demand for people that do what you do because kids aren't going to be experiencing it, so they're not going to grow that interest in it. I don't think it's like a bad thing about kids at all. It's like everything else, right? Like I would not know how to use a mechanical typewriter. Like I can type, but like I wouldn't know all the nuances and intricacies about using one. Just like kids now don't know how to use apparently they don't know how to type, but it's just a difference in the world now. If you're gonna talk about the orange tube, you gotta invite me. We all gotta be on camera, all of us. Except for me. I don't have to be on camera. And Ty, you don't have to be on camera. But all three of us have to be on camera. Hey, Rex, how's it going? Yeah, apparently kids are not learning how to type and they're struggling. Like they're doing the pecking because they use their phones and tablets where that's how you type. You don't put your hands on the keyboard and type like you normally would. So a lot of teachers are starting to say younger kids don't know how to do that stuff. The younger Gen Z is kind of in that gray area where some of them do, some of them don't. But the new generation, Gen Alpha, have no idea how to do anything. Okay. Maybe, okay, I checked section B, right? See you later, Ty. Yeah, I'm pretty quick. But you're a bit older, so you're in that range that still had access to PCs the way that like my generation would have. Not access, but like the PCs did things like my generation would have, whereas now kids are using tablets, and the tablets, again, most of them, they're not using the keyboard, they're just like plucking on the screen, and so they're not learning how to type properly. It's wild. It's wild how things are changing. And again, it's not like a bad thing or whatever, it's just, it's so different. But computers are such an important part of our lives that is something that it's a little bit worrisome that they don't know how to use, because it's not like we're dealing with technology that doesn't exist anymore. It's just they're not exposed to it like we were. Because now you talk to any teenager and they're looking at PCs for gaming and that's it. They don't realize there's other things you can do with PCs. Like the debate about Mac versus PC or Apple versus Android, a lot of the argument is not nuanced at all. It's missing a lot of the detail. Yeah, lots of kids don't know their email or phone number or any of that stuff either. Yeah. Yeah, Rex. And you, like, you're in that weird gray area. You're like at the end of the gray area. You're more Gen Z than millennial, but you grew up at a time where you were watching millennials. So you were able to understand the millennial experience. The younger Gen Z doesn't understand the millennial experience, and there's a big disconnect. And there's almost like a lack of understanding of certain things that we say, and not in a sense of like they just don't know any better. It's they're just missing certain perspectives. I've said this before, and I say it over and over again. I talked about it last time that I was streaming, but like, I'll get insulted in a video, and then I'll clap back, and then a Gen Z will call me out saying I'm being self-centered because I was offended that somebody insulted me. And it's like, that's how the world works. You're not entitled to insult people, and they just have to take it. But they have no idea how that works, because they grew up in a world where you're hiding behind a screen the whole time and a keyboard, and you can just insult whoever you want. And so they're not used to that kind of social interaction. You happen to grow up at a time when a lot of us were younger and still within like the cool range. But now people that are at the tail end of your generation, we're just old people to them. They don't understand where the attraction was with what we were doing. So it's a really weird place that you're in. It's a really weird place that you're in. Yeah, I still remember my childhood phone number. I remember my I used to remember my grandmother's phone number. I don't anymore. But nowadays, I'm just as bad. I don't know anybody's phone number except for my own. And even my own, I sometimes have to stop and think about it, because if I don't say it in the right pattern, I get thrown off, and then I just can never fix it again. Yeah, we're millennials, Weewin. We're millennials. We're like the elder millennials. We're still too young to be the Gen X, like the Xennial, the Gen X millennial mix. We're full millennial, but we're right at the beginning of full millennial. We are what Rex is, where we grew up with Gen X being the cool ones, so we understand Gen X, but we're not part of the culture because we're not quite old enough to have grown up with the same things Gen X did grow up with. And so Rex is the same with us, where Rex grew up not exactly in our generation, so they didn't experience what we experienced, but they saw our generation actively. We were on social media, we were the cool kids, so they were able to connect with what we were dealing with. Yeah, 80, 81 is where it started to turn, and then it's like the gray area is up until like 84, is where it's like they're millennials, but they still were close enough to the Gen X that they have a lot in common with Gen X, but they still have a lot in common with millennials. Once you get to like 85, 86, 87, then it's like pure millennial. We don't have much in common with Gen X, but we saw it enough that I can relate to the Gen X stuff. Yeah, you're the young Gen X, exactly. You're the tail end. You're like right before that crossover section happened. So it's like hearing things like Run DMC. I grew up knowing who Run DMC was, but I grew up with Run DMC being the retro, like the common callback music, like the way that now people listen to like Avril Lavigne, and they know Avril Lavigne, they grew up with Avril Lavigne, but it's like she's still considered older music. That's how I grew up with Run DMC, whereas like the Gen X group were active when Run DMC was a huge rap group. It's just that weird like gray area. Refuses to be called a millennial. Yeah, and the thing is, millennials got a really bad rap overall. Like my favorite is the older Gen X always use we're the trophy, the participation trophy generation, but they forget that the older Gen X and the younger boomers are the ones that gave us those trophies. We didn't ask for them, we were given them because they didn't want to deal with the kid crying, which is what every other parent dealt with. So it's a weird thing. And then we were considered spoiled and lazy and all this stuff. But then the Gen Z also bully us. Like we're the in-between group that gets bullied by both sides, which is really strange. But yeah, nobody wants to be a millennial. I didn't, whoa! Oh, that's what he said. It looks like it's solid, but it's not. Like I didn't want to be considered a millennial until eventually I was like, yeah, no, I have no choice. I am a millennial. There's nothing I can do about it. Can I break it? Yeah, and that's exactly it. You're in that in-between section where like you don't fully fit in with one and you also don't fully fit in with the other. It's a weird position to be in, for sure. Yeah, and millennial and Gen X had the misfortune of being the forgotten generation. Like they were the latchkey kids. They were the kids that were dealing with their boomer parents who were too busy trying to change the world for the worst because they were the self-centered generation. And then the millennials were the ones that came in afterwards who were reaping the benefits of everything that their boomer parents did and that the boomers had put in place to kind of make the world better. And Gen X was like forgotten. And so they've kind of just watched from the sidelines of everything that's happening, which is really funny. But now there are, not really funny, but like it's strange how that's like the generation that happened to. But now the older Gen X are still fixated that millennials are like 20 years old, and they can't accept that millennials are now reaching their 40s. Some of them are in their 40s. I'm getting close to my 40s. There's like this misconception that millennials are indeed still 19, 20-year-old teenagers. And it's like, no, I've been in the workforce for the last 15 years. Yeah, the whispering is so creepy. Nope. Too far. Oh well. I guess I'll just stick with 2. We'll just stick with 2. It'll be easier. You're not the forgotten generation, though. You might feel that way because you're in the weird gray area, but you're not. The Gen Z generation is the generation that is no longer willing to put up with crap. The Gen Z generation is the generation that's doing the things that we put in place. Like, we started with the no longer, like, dealing with abusive parents, trying to raise our kids differently. Because some of us have Gen Z kids. I have a Gen Z kid. And so I can't speak for my kid, but my generation is the one that tried to, like, start a new way of raising kids. Gen Z is now the one that are kind of taking the baton and going further and now trying to change society. But Gen Z is split in a weird way because they have that group of Gen Z, and then there's the really self-entitled, self-righteous, self-centered Gen Z group. Hence why you have these like prank channels and people humiliating other people online and then getting upset when somebody calls them out for it. Stealing other people's content and then thinking that it's okay and that you're the idiot for being upset that somebody plagiarized your content. It's a weird mix within the two, but they're not forgotten like Gen X was. Gen X was forgotten, like full-blown forgotten. Because there are times that I feel like we were forgotten, but we're definitely not forgotten. But Gen X was like properly forgotten because like when we're talking about forgotten, like the Gen X generation was a generation that got kidnapped a whole bunch. Like kidnapping was an active thing when we were growing up because it happened so much to Gen X. And Gen X were the latchkey kids, which were the kids that were given keys to go home because they walked themselves home from school. They spent all evening by themselves at school because their parents were at work all day. Like that's the level of forgotten that they were, where like their parents might be home for like half an hour with them before their parents went to bed because they had to go. So the Gen X kids were out late doing stuff, whatever they wanted. There was literally a commercial on television that was like, "It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?" That's how irresponsible boomers are. They needed a commercial to tell them, hey, it's nighttime. Your kids should be at home. Do you know where they are? Because Gen X was like properly forgotten. Like forgotten. Yeah, older millennials are definitely a lot closer to Gen X. We're a lot closer to Gen X. I still have things that I'm not connected with when it comes to Gen X, but yeah, I was partially a latchkey kid. Like I was babysitting my brother and sister by the time I was 9. And not like babysitting for half an hour. Like my parents wouldn't get home till 8 o'clock at night. So from 3 p.m. till 8 o'clock at night, I was taking care of my brother and sister. I was 9. My sister was like 4. Yeah, you were part of that same group, when you were part of that same group. And that's it. So like when we say they were the forgotten generation, that's what we mean. Like they were the first that went into the workforce that didn't get to move up as... What? I made it so far. Why did it break? They were the first generation that moved into the workforce that didn't have as many opportunities. We're the first ones that moved in that have no opportunities, but they were the first to move in and didn't have as many opportunities. But they were the ones that basically raised themselves. That's why you had the punk rock movement. That's why you had like that whole like edgy against society movement, because they were raising themselves. So they were like doing drugs, not all of them, but like a lot of them were doing drugs and out partying, and they were out all night just doing whatever they wanted. I grew up in part of that where like I was 14 or 15 years old and I was hanging out at the park at 1 in the morning doing nothing, just hanging out at the park. And like out of all my friends, all of us had gotten drunk at least once by the time we were 14. Most of my friends smoked by the time they were 11 because parents just weren't watching us. So like that's what we mean by forgotten. Like it's actually forgotten. Right now, what you're feeling is the fact that the boomers are refusing to leave and they're getting more and more disconnected. And so it feels forgotten because the people in charge have zero clue what it is to be young anymore. And we didn't have that as much because Gen X had boomers going in and the boomers were the next generation. And then we had some Gen X going in, so we still had the next generation stepping in before us. But we're the first generation where there aren't many of us in like Congress or in political stuff. Not a lot of us are like the tops of companies. And so like you have a bunch of boomers in charge, so it feels like you're forgotten because they don't understand you. But Gen X was like genuinely forgotten. Like they were not raised by anybody. They had to figure things out for themselves. Most Gen Xers learned to cook and clean at a very young age because they were doing it for their siblings way before they ever should have. Dark Dungeon, how's it going? Welcome. Michael Jackson, it depends on if you think it's worth it or not. It's not worth it for me, but it could be worth it for you. Yeah. Yeah, by the 90s, it was a lot rarer to have people staying out super late into the night. It was a lot less common. The Don't Talk to Strangers movement had started in the 90s. In the 80s is when it started, but it really like took flight in the 90s. We, like my generation, grew up with the you're gonna get kidnapped. Don't talk to anybody you don't know because they're gonna kidnap you. Which also wasn't the best because usually the person that kidnaps you is somebody you actually know. But we were the first generation that really grew up with that. Whereas a lot of Gen X, they were just out doing whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. That's why you have movies like Stand By Me, which I know was in the 50s, but like that was very common of like, you just go off on an adventure with your friends and you just spend all day with them, and your parents sometimes had no idea where you were, but they never really bothered to learn if you were from a not great family. Good families still were good families and were still attentive to their kids and all that, but a large portion of Gen X were completely ignored by their parents. I've never heard of Omori. Yeah, modern medicine is a huge part. It's a huge part. People are living a lot longer now. But there's the big step of like boomers. Why Gen X was ignored? When they got control, they made a bunch of stuff so they would never lose that control. Because boomers grew up during a lot of wars and they finally experienced peace, and they were raised in a way that their parents were trying to give them everything they could while still being super abusive, but they were raised in a way to be very, very self-centered, because it was like the first time that there was like actual widespread peace. Not everywhere was peaceful, but widespread peace, and people had the opportunity to move up. And so those guys were raised with this self-centeredness of like, I'm special, I'm gonna grow up to be something huge. And once they got the power, they didn't want to let go of the power. And so then they put a bunch of things in place so they didn't have to let go of power. And in the States especially, you have the oldest generation of people in charge of any place in the world, because all of them are like, the average age is like 70 something. What does a 70 something year old know about what a 25 to 35 year old needs? They don't know. They have no idea. Hence why you get the, so does the TikTok connect to my Wi-Fi? Because they have no idea. They're so disconnected from the world. So they're living longer, but they also implemented things to not lose the power that they have. And then so Gen X is kind of the in-between dealing with the situation. Millennials are the ones that don't have an opportunity for that, because most of my friends don't have managerial jobs unless they started their own business or they were wealthy and got a lot of education and were able to get into a place like that. But the people that grew up around me that were poor like I was, none of us have managerial jobs. All of us have jobs as grunts, as the bottom rung. Gen Z is now stepping in and trying to make change, which hopefully will make things better for everybody else. But yeah, Gen X, they took the not fun side of the stick. Yes, we would go get some sleep. No doing anything too crazy tonight. Yeah, Michael Jackson, something like that. It's a very user-specific question. You can't rely on somebody else on whether it's worth it or not. Like for me, not worth it at all. I would rather pay for the Microsoft Game Pass because that gives me a bunch of free games to play whenever I want. And I get like games on launch day and stuff. I'm not going to get a game that's like 5 years old. But if you only play PlayStation, then it might be worth it for you. But to me also Netflix isn't worth it, and a lot of people have Netflix. It just depends on what you think is worth it. With rich young politicians, that's always going to be how it is if politics don't change. Right now the problem with politics is it's by rich people for rich people. But your generation is more aware of that. They're more open to that. My generation, we're aware of it, but we're still seen by Gen Z, by Gen X, and by boomers as being too lazy to work, or being the avocado toast generation, that we spend $7 on avocado toast and coffee. But $7 a day is not going to make me rich. I'm not going to all of a sudden be a millionaire because I didn't buy the avocado toast. So we can't make the change, but you guys are still at that place where you could make the change, and boomers are going to die out and you'll still be young enough to do something about it. But it's the government in general just has to change. But right now it just seems kind of hopeless because, yeah, the hey, that doesn't work. How about this one? Yeah, I have YouTube Premium, but only because my brother bought it and he put me on his family plan, and I got it that way. I didn't want it. I wasn't interested in it, but now that I have it, I 100% do not want to go back, because yeah, not having ads, that's a really nice feeling. It's a really, really nice feeling not having to worry about ads. Wait, what do I say when I'm looking at it? The Gore-Tex glove is high-tech modern stuff. I really hope there's not a buddy attached to it. Jesus, what a way to go. I mean, grab it though. Grab it, dude. Okay. I don't know what it wants me to do. Any other time that sight would be stunning. Right now it just makes me shiver. Yeah, I have a secondary YouTube account, and when I pull it up and I get ads, I forget how annoying they are, and then I see the ads and I'm just like, ugh, never again do I want to go back to not having ads, or never again do I want to go back to having ads. Okay, I don't know what they want me to do. I didn't see what he said when I looked at the glove. Can I cut the arm off? Ah, I can. Ew, it was a hand. Ew. Alright, now we gotta work all the way back to open that door that was like, I need to pry this open. Can't remember where that was, but... What time is it? 4:42. I've been streaming for almost 3 hours. I should probably stop soon. But yeah, the sad part is YouTube has done what most companies are doing. They created the problem of having too many ads, and now they've resolved it by having us pay to not have ads, and it's so annoying. But man, having no ads is a really, really nice change. I made a whole video on TikTok about how I would never ever pay for YouTube Premium because I was like, no, I don't want to give them my money. And I haven't because I'm not paying them, my brother is, but yeah, I definitely have to eat my own words because it is very, very nice not having to worry about ads all the time. Wait a minute, does that work? Oh no, it doesn't. Thought I saw something, but I guess not. Oh boy. I'm tired. Whoa! Okay, we're good. I think I can make it now. And jump! Okay, good. Whew. Yeah, that was the thing. I was using an ad blocker, but sometimes the ad blockers just didn't work originally. And then the ad blocker would sometimes mess with other pages that just wouldn't let you onto the page at all with an ad blocker. And now YouTube does it. Having the ability to minimize the window, like the app, while doing other things and still hearing the video, I love that. I can actually put my phone to sleep and it can still play the audio. That's the biggest one for me. Because I constantly have videos going, so like I put my phone in my pocket and I'll just be watching like a 20-minute video and I just listen to it while I'm working. That's the biggest one to me. I don't listen to music, so that doesn't really, that's not really a benefit for me. But yeah, the being able to minimize the app while doing stuff is great, and no ads. Love both of those. But I'm just not somebody that listens to music. I'm not saying that it's not a useful thing. It's just I don't listen to music, so to me it's not useful. But yeah, those three things are such a great feature. On being able to download videos, because sometimes I'm gonna go somewhere, like my girlfriend lives in a place that I don't get signal with my phone, and for like the last 15 minutes of the drive to her place, I don't have a signal. And so like I can just download a bunch of videos and just have them playing over my speakers while I'm out there, so that way I don't have to worry about like, oh, I've got no signal now, I have nothing to listen to. Which is, yeah, it's got its benefits. I don't think it's worth the money, but at least I feel like I'm getting something for the fee. Whereas like more and more apps are becoming something that you pay for and you're not getting anything for it. Like it's getting worse as you pay for it. Like look at Netflix and Disney and stuff wanting to add ads to, I think Netflix already does. I think Disney is going to, or they already do as well. But it's like, I'm paying you and you're still going to show me commercials. Make it free and put ads on it, sure. But if I'm paying you, don't put ads on it. Like that's just greed. So like that part, it's just getting gross. So at least YouTube offers me stuff that I'm like, okay, that feels like it's worth it. The One Piece grind don't stop. I don't have Netflix, so I don't have Netflix or Disney Plus or any of that. I just watch on YouTube because I'm not going to pay them $15 for 1080p when I've got a 4K HDR television, and I'm not going to pay them almost $30 to get 4K HDR. Because it's just like an upgraded feature, and their selling point is like, oh, you can get up to 5 different accounts or whatever on it. No, I just want one account, but I'd like to play it at 4K. I don't want to pay you double the price for stuff I'm not going to use. And then, like I said, for the cheaper price, yeah, you're going to get ads. I don't want ads. I'll just go on YouTube. I'll watch stuff on YouTube instead. Not a fan of Netflix at all. And they're just overpriced. All that stuff is overpriced, so it's not worth it. But anyways, I need to get out of here. I'm going to heat up some chicken. I got to run to the pharmacy and order my meds and then fill out my passport stuff. Yeah, I get weary about that only because I am out of the loop now and I don't know where to go for stuff like that. And the last time I tried using a torrent site, I got a letter in the mail that was saying that my provider was going to cut me off because they had gotten a letter from, I think it was Universal, sent them a letter that I had downloaded something and that if that happened again, they were going to sue them, and then that company was going to sue me. So they're like, if we get another letter, we're just cutting your service. So then I stopped downloading because I got scared. But yeah. Thankfully, there's a place that's about, from now, it's like 3 hours. You got a letter from Xfinity? Yeah, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because they're charging you an arm and a leg, and it's not even like you own anything. They can just take it whenever they feel like. So it's not even like you're paying them and you have guaranteed service. But there's a place that's about 3 hours from here. It's a mall, and they do all the downloading. So if I ever want to buy anything, they usually have things where like you can buy a whole season of a show for $20. Not a whole season, a whole series of a show for like $20. Or it'll be like $20 for 5 movies, and you just go and pick out movies, and some of them are good quality, some of them are not. But hey, for $5, I get a whole bunch of movies. I don't mind. But yeah, I don't want to risk it because I don't know. I'm not in the know anymore to know where the safe places are to go or what to look for. Not like before. Because before it was like, oh, you use like Kazaa, but then you can get viruses. Well, I know of a place that you torrent things and you don't have to worry about viruses. And now it's like, yeah, but now the companies are going to come after you because they put out dummy files and then they catch you. But how do you know when they're dummy files? It's like, ugh. Anyways, I better get myself out of here. I'm going to go heat up some chicken and eat some dinner and then run around. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow. It kind of depends. I have a bunch of stuff to do, but it all depends on whether or not I can meet with somebody to sign the back of my passport. And if I meet with them, then I'm going to be running around doing stuff. If I can't meet with them, then I might stream. So TBA, I guess, to be announced if I'm going to stream tomorrow or not. Just keep an eye out. But that's pretty much it. I really appreciate everybody hanging out here. Tomorrow we will not be playing this. If I stream tomorrow, we'll not be playing this. I'll probably play either Resident Evil or go back to Mario. I'm not 100% sure yet. One of the two. But that's pretty much it. Michael Jackson, thank you so much for hanging out. Have yourself a great day. Everybody else, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here. And let me say goodbye to TikTok first. See you later, TikTok. Have a great day. And Twitch and YouTube, thank you all for being here. Like I said, keep an eye out. I might be back tomorrow. If not, I'll be back the next day for sure. So one of the 2 days I'll be live. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, everybody. Have yourselves a great day. I love you all. Thanks for being here and take care. See you later.